Chapter 8:12. Since he could not stop the marriage, Jiang Wu naturally wanted to get more benefits. The quasi-relics were one kind of profit, and the mystical materials were another. But compared to Jiang Qiling, they were far from enough. Jiang Qiling was the chosen warrior in the future. When she grew up, she would be of great help to the development of the Jiang family. However, that was what the Jiang clan deserved. If the future prodigy married into the Liu clan, how could the Liu clan not bleed? Extorting more mystical materials would be pointless. They would run out one day. To gain long-term benefits, Jiang Qiling's status in the Liu family must be ensured. So Jiang Wu said, "We'll talk about the baby later. Let's talk about Qiling first. Liu Li, I heard that you're going to marry 2 people at the same time, and all of them were his first wives. Do you think this is appropriate? Qiling is the leader of our Jiang family, the future sovereign of our family. How can we share the position of the principal wife with someone else? What a shame for our Jiang family." He knew Jiang Wu would make things difficult for him, but he didn't expect Jiang Wu would do it this way. Liu Li was troubled. In terms of status, Bai Qiuxue really could not compare with Jiang Qiling. Bai Qiuxue was just a young lady from a small family at the northern desert, while Jiang Qiling was the family patriarch of the Jiang family. That being said, in Liu Li's mind, Jiang Qiling and Bai Qiuxue were of the same status. They were both women he loved. Liu Li would never agree to a division between them. He pondered for a while, then stood up and said, "Uncle Jiang, please forgive me. Actually, this time I'm not marrying 2 people, but 3 people at the same time, including Autumn Snow's twin sister, Bai Xiaxuan. As for the main wife and secondary wife, in my heart, there is no difference. Uncle Jiang should not mention this point. If you have any other requests, you can tell me. As long as I can satisfy them, I won't hesitate." Wow, Liu Li's words caused a sensation in the hall. His tone was so tough that he didn't show any respect to the Jiang family. Originally, when he said that he was going to marry 2 people, the Jiang clan already felt that he had lost a lot of face. Now, he was going to marry 3 people? What was more, all 3 of them were his legal wives. What Jiang Wu had said in public was a slap in the face. He request. What request would I dare to make? Jiang Wu was enraged. He stood up and said coldly, "Someone, see our guest out." The patriarchs of the Jiang family were panicking. If Jiang Wu kicked Liu Renhuang and the others out, Jiang Qiling would fly into a rage. If Jiang Qiling eloped with Liu Li, the Jiang family would lose everything. Liu Renhuang smiled, not taking it seriously. Patriarch 8 was getting anxious. He stood up and said, "Grandmaster Jiang, don't get angry. Let's talk this out. Liu Li, can't you be nicer?" Liu Renhuang finally said something. He looked at Liu Li and pretended to scold him. "Liu Li, how can you talk to your elders like this? Quickly apologize to your uncle Jiang. Wu, you're really something. You're already so old, yet you're still angry with the younger generation. Children have their own blessings. Even the juniors have no objections, so why are you getting involved? Isn't this a negotiation? Why can't we talk things out?" Liu Li bowed at once and said, "Uncle Jiang, please don't be angry. My tone was not right. Please forgive me." Jiang Wu's face was clouded by Liu Renhuang and Liu Li's performance. Though they were talking, they didn't make any concessions. On the surface, they were apologizing. Actually, they were telling Jiang Wu in a silent way. This was the bottom line. Jiang Wu had to talk, or not. The patriarchs of the Jiang family were frustrated and speechless. But what could they do? In the old days, Liu Li was a nobody that the Jiang family could bully. Now, the Jiang family could bully the Jiang family however they wanted. In the battle at the Samsara city, the Jiang family had completely offended the deputy master and many other forces. If they didn't cling to Liu Li, the Jiang family could be destroyed at any time. The situation was not in their favor. The patriarchs tried to calm Jiang Wu down. Of course, some patriarchs took the opportunity to scold Liu Li. If Jiang Wu didn't show off at such a good time, who would scold him after Liu Li unified the world? "You talk. I don't care anymore." Jiang Wu was still embarrassed. He glanced at Jiang Nijuan and signaled him to blackmail the Liu family. Then, He turned around and left. Lu Renhuang turned to Lu Li and said, Lu Li, go and visit Qiling. We will talk here. Lu Li was stubborn and not suitable for negotiation. Since Jiang Hua had left, he had tacitly agreed to Lu Li's bottom line. Jiang Hua would let Lu Li talk to the Jiang family. Okay, Lu Li didn't like this kind of negotiation. He felt he was selling his children. He left on his own and followed Jiang Hong to Jiang Qiling's yard. As soon as Jiang Hua and Lu Li left, the atmosphere was lightened. On behalf of the Jiang family, Jiang Nijuan demanded a lot of conditions. Jiang Nijuan could name the conditions easily. Clearly, the Jiang family had discussed this many times, and they were ready to blackmail the Lu family. Lu Renhuang and Patriarch 8 were prepared. They would concede as long as they could, and they would not budge if they couldn't. Lu Renhuang was confident. The Lu family could fight against the demon-slaying Hall, and the Jiang family had to rely on the Lu family. This was the source of Lu family's confidence. What was more, given Jiang Qiling's personality, the Jiang family wouldn't push her too hard. No matter how hard the Jiang family tried, the deal would come to fruition. Of course, the Lu family was also concerned about their reputation. If things went sour and the Jiang family didn't send someone to the wedding, the Lu family would be humiliated. Lu Renhuang offered the Jiang family a lot of promises. For example, if the Lu family unified the world in the future, they could give the barbarian land of the north, the feather land of the west, the voodoo land of the south, and the ocean land of the east to the Jiang family, so that the Jiang family could develop and grow. It seemed tempting, and the possibility was high. That being said, it was just a pie in the sky. What was more, the four lands were barren. The Great Land was the center of the Heaven Reverse universe. The Jiang family had been at the Central Plains for many years, and they didn't care about those lands. After haggling from morning to night, the matter was finally settled. The report was submitted to Jiang Hua. The latter was not satisfied, but he had to let it go. The 3 quasi-relics became 6. Lu Li didn't mind having more quasi-relics. The amount of mystical materials was doubled, and there were some ancient skills. The Jiang family gained a lot from the Featherland of the South and the Voodoo Land of the Featherland of the West after they unified the Heaven Reverse universe. Lu Li was drinking tea in Jiang Qiling's yard when Patriarch 8 came to tell him the conditions. After all, Lu Li had to decide on the quasi-relics and mystical materials. 6 quasi-relics? So many mystical materials? So many conditions? They have sold me at a good price. Jiang Qiling's face turned cold when she heard the report. She raised her eyebrows and was about to lose her temper. Lu Li took her hand and said, "You are not married yet, and you are already siding with an outsider. Uncle and the Jiang family are not asking for too much. I will not hesitate even if they were several times more demanding, let alone this. After all, I am marrying the priceless treasure of the Jiang family." Hearing Lu Li's words, Jiang Qiling beamed from ear to ear. After Patriarch 8 left, she sneaked into Lu Li's conversation like a clingy cat. She said with a sweet smile, "Lu Li, don't think you can fool me with some sweet words. Tell me, what is going on with Bai Xiaoshuang? You are marrying Qiu Xue and his sister? Are you going to ask Madame Yin as well? Mother, daughter, sister, flower, you are having a good time." Chapter 8:13. Bai Qiu and Jiang Qiling were not idiots, having reached such a high realm. They had pride in their bones. No matter how amiable they seemed, they must have their own thoughts. But they were smart enough not to put Lu Li in a difficult position. Sometimes they would show some bitterness and resentment. They wanted Lu Li to know their grievances and to love themselves more. What was done was done. Nothing could change the fact that Lu Li was going to marry the 3 beauties. Jiang Qiling could not change Lu Li's mind. She was warning Lu Li to stop being a playboy by saying these words. She had vaguely indicated that she was unhappy. Some words were useless, but they had to be said. What else could Lu Li do apart from comforting her? Jiang Qiling didn't make a fuss. She turned around and began to talk about other things. Her eyes were filled with smiles, as if she had never mentioned what had happened. The next day, Jiang Hua and Lu Renhuang met up. They set the conditions and requirements officially. The matter was settled. Lu Renhuang, Lu Li, and Patriarchate would go back to the Lu family today. The wedding would be held in a month, and the Lu family would come to welcome Jiang Qiling. When Lu Li and Lu Renhuang went back, the news spread out. 1 month was a short time. The entire Lu family was busy. Many invitations were sent out, and the entire Great Land was shocked. Lu Li's wedding. What a big deal. Even the Palace of Immortals' inquiries, the Red Lunar and the Palace of Heaven's roars sent people to inquire, not to mention the families that were close to Lu Li. They also sent someone to inform the Lu family that there would be messengers at the wedding. The tumulus of universe and the great Buddhist temple would send their important figures. Therefore, the families affiliated to the two forces became active. They began to prepare gifts and were ready to go to the city of mystic armor to congratulate Lu Li. Many other families became active, trying to get the right to attend the wedding banquet at the city of mystic armor. The Lu family was not the old Lu family. Those that could build a relationship with the Lu family would benefit greatly in the future. What was more, the Samsara Palace, the Life League, the Hades Society, and the Pavilion of Blossoms were eager to make a move. Why? They were afraid that Lu Li would get back at them. If Lu Li did that, he would kick all of them out. The wedding was a joyous occasion. On such a good day, the Lu family wouldn't turn hostile even if their enemies came. Therefore, if they could attend the banquet and present gifts, at least their families wouldn't be wiped out when Lu Li destroyed the other forces. There were also great clans from other continents, such as Liang Province and Qin Province. Countless clans, envoys flocked over with large amounts of gifts. They did not expect to attend the wedding banquet. They only hoped that the gifts could be accepted by Lu family, too. For a moment, the entire Great Land was in an uproar. Many cities were talking about Lu Li's wedding. People had forgotten about the 4 alien races in the demon-slaying battleground. Lu were the Hua. Lu's Lu. Lu was to marry. Many to be. Lu to marry the 3 to the family. There were also some young ladies from big families who were upset. The 3 that were married were all the official wives. Even if they were to hook up with Lu Li and marry into the Lu clan, they would only be concubines. The Ling Empress city of the northern desert had been razed to the ground. Many members of the Bai family had died, leaving only a few young disciples. The young masters of the Bai family, Bai Rong, and some young ladies were all in the inferno. Lu Li asked Bai Lung and 2 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves to teleport to the great Buddhist temple. From there, they teleported to the drifting cloud city and then to the deserted world to bring the Bai family to the deserted world. For a month, Lu Li was busy. Many scouts were sent to the entire Great Land to make sure that the wedding would go smoothly. Lu family had sent over 1,000 scouts to the demon-slaying battleground. The only one that could threaten Lu Li now was Deputy Master. If Deputy Master were to launch a surprise attack on Lu Li's wedding day, then the happy occasion would turn into a funeral. Of course, Deputy Master was being monitored by Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Great-Grandfather 3. He was still fighting against the 4 alien races. He wouldn't do anything rash. Lu Li had the wicked bead. Deputy Master could not kill him. Killing Lu Li's family and friends would only drive Lu Li mad. When that happened, he would kill his way to the demon-slaying city and kill all Deputy Master subordinates. Deputy Master would be condemned by history. Lu Ling had been busy lately. She had taken over the entire intelligence system of the Lu family. Lu Xingyang could not manage everything by himself. Lu Renhuang did not like it, and Lu Ling did not trust the patriarchs of the Lu family. Therefore, she had to take charge in person to ensure that the wedding would go smoothly. Great-Grandfather 5 arranged the wedding in person. The city of Mystic Armor was renovated. A brand new castle was built on the Mystic Armor Mountain to serve as Lu Li's wedding courtyard. The courtyard was built by tearing down many other courtyards. It was even larger than Lu Zhengyang's. Lu Li, on the other hand, had nothing to do. Since Jiang Qiling was at the City of Delicacy, he spent time with Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang. Sometimes, he would take Little White out for a walk. After Lu Li's confession that night, Bai Xiaoshuang and Lu Li's relationship improved. but they were not as natural as by Qiushue. She would avoid Lu Li's eyes and would blush from time to time. The affection that occasionally flowed out from his eyes was very obvious. Madam Yin had been busy recently. She was busy with decorating the new castle, buying and designing new clothes for Bai Qiushue and Bai Xiaoshuang, selecting maids and other chores. The entire city of mystic armor was in a jubilant mood. Lu Zhangtan, Lu Fenghua, and Lu Swan seemed to have been forgotten by the people in the city. Nobody dared to mention them. The city was full of scouts and secret agents. If Lu Ling heard about them, she would suffer a miserable fate. Mingyu and Lu Feishue's wedding was settled, but it had to be held after Lu Li's wedding and in a low-key manner. Lu Xingyang had been frozen for many years. His temperament had changed. He no longer forced his children to get married, but that did not mean that he was shameless. Yi Luo and Lu Hongyu's wedding was settled. In 3 months, the wedding would represent the formal alliance between the tumulus of universe and the Lu family. They would share the same fate. 1 month passed by in a blink. The great land was in peace. In the demon-slaying hall, Deputy Master was still fighting against the 4 alien races. Lu family and many other families could breathe in relief. As long as Deputy Master did not act rashly, Lu Li would not lose his mind. But once Lu Li did, heads would roll and many families would be wiped out. Lu Li brought 5 Earth Immortal Realm Soul slaves and some patriarchs of the Lu family to the City of Delicacy to bring Jiang Qilin back. Jiang Hua showed Lu Li respect by coming to the City of Mystic Armor to witness the ceremony. The 3 brides and their families were ready. Lu Li, Lu Renhuang, and Lu Ling waited at the plaza to welcome the guests. Not long afterward, the super teleportation formation in the city glowed. Yi Luo's father, the family patriarch of the tumulus of universe, came in person with a group of powerful warriors. Another super teleportation formation glowed. The family patriarch of the great Buddhist temple and the Kong family patriarch came with Prajna, an evil punisher. Their arrival caused quite a stir. The royal family of the great Buddhist temple was the Kong family. Evil Punisher was the most powerful young warrior of the great Buddhist temple, and Prajna enjoyed an even higher status. The arrival of the 3 represented the formal alliance between the great Buddhist temple and the Lu family. Buzzing, 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 the palace of heavens roars, the palace of immortals inquiries, the Red Lunar, and other forces all sent people. But their family patriarchs didn't come. Only the young masters and young ladies of their families came. Many other families came with the young masters and young ladies. What surprised many was many forces under the banner of the Hades Society, the Yiksha race, the Life League, and the Pavilion of Blossoms did. But they were only here to deliver gifts, and they left as soon as they were done. Whoosh, at noon, there came a noise from the north. Jiang Tianshan, great-grandfather 3 and 2 patriarchs of the demon-slaying hall came together. They were not here on behalf of themselves, but on behalf of the entire demon-slaying hall to congratulate Lu Li. The entire city of Mystic Armor was stirred up by the news. Deputy Master had taken the initiative to express his goodwill to Lu Li. P.S. I put some ointment on it, and it seems to be getting worse. I can't even lift my hands. I can only write 3 chapters. I don't think the quality is good. I am getting old. I still owe 2 chapters. I really can't write anymore. The updates may not be stable in the next couple of days. I will make up for what I owe later. Chapter 814. It was not unusual for Jiang Tianshan and great-grandfather 3 to come. It was not unusual for 2 patriarchs of the demon-slaying hall to come. However, the 4 of them did not represent individuals, but the demon-slaying hall. The implication was worth pondering. No matter how many factions there were at the demon-slaying hall, at least on the surface, Deputy Master had taken over and become the new Grandmaster. If Deputy Master did not agree, who would have the courage to congratulate Lu Li in the name of the demon-slaying hall? The second Palace Master took the initiative to express his goodwill. This made many people wonder if the army of the 4 foreign races was too powerful, and the second Palace Master was not confident in defeating them. Was that why Deputy Master had come to fawn over Lu Li, hoping that he could take action at the critical moment to suppress the 4 alien races? Whatever the truth was, at the very least, this wedding was beyond the norm. Apart from the families that were hostile to Lu Li, all the major forces of the Great Land had sent representatives. This was a supreme honor. Lu Xingyang, Great-Grandfather 5, and Patriarch 8 were grinning from ear to ear. The wedding was held in the newly built castle. The plaza outside the castle was filled with banquets. There was no end to the banquet. At least tens of thousands of guests had come. Those tens of thousands of guests were not average people. They were all famous people of the Great Land. Many family patriarchs of small families were not qualified to attend the wedding. The courtyard was crowded with powerful warriors to witness Lu Li's wedding. The 3 brides were more beautiful than flowers, especially by Xia Shuang and by Qiu Xue, who were twins. They were dressed to the nines, stunning beyond compare. Many young masters could not take their eyes off them. Great-Grandfather 5 presided over the wedding in person. Lu Li wore a red robe. Following the tradition of the Central Plains, he and the 3 brides kowtowed to Lu Xingyang, Jiang Tianshun, and Bai Yin. After the ceremony, the 3 brides were sent to the bridal chamber. Lu Li and Lu Ren Huang began to toast. Over 100 tables were set up in the courtyard and thousands more outside. Half of the powerful warriors of the Great Land were here. The atmosphere inside and outside the courtyard was harmonious. Many young masters and young ladies were here. Naturally, the young masters began to target Lu Ling. She was especially popular. Many young masters surrounded her and toasted to strike up a conversation. Today was Lu Li's wedding. Lu Ling was in a good mood. She did not put on a straight face. Of course, she was not enthusiastic. Someone toasted and took a sip. Someone struck up a conversation and responded with a smile. Many young masters were excited as if they were on drugs. Lu Lin and the other young masters of the Lu clan had become the focus of many young ladies. The Lu family was a superforce that could compete with the demon-slaying hall. If Lu Li could unite with the Lu family through marriage, he would enjoy endless benefits in the future. There were also a few young masters of the Bai family, including Bai Gu and Bai Rong. The Bai family used to be a small family, but when the 4 families invaded the northern desert, many members of the Bai family were killed. But the Bai family was different now. Bai Qiu Xue and Bai Qiu Xue were married to Lu Li. The Bai family would rise as a result. To be connected with the Bai family through marriage was equal to being tied to Lu Li. Bai Gu and Bai Rong were cultivating in the Inferno. Their realms were quite good. All of them were at the Noble Lord realm. They were young and had a promising future. Lu Li, congratulations. Yi Luo was wearing a white robe, looking elegant. He toasted Lu Li with a smile. Lu Li smiled back and said, "In a couple of months, it will be your wedding. From then on, we will be relatives." Yi Luo glanced at Lu Hongyu, who was not far away. He nodded and said, "We are indeed relatives, but it's a pity. The gap between us is getting bigger and bigger. You're too powerful. Your father is only stronger than my father's generation, but you make us feel despair." Lu Li shook his head and sighed. "You cannot say that. I am still at the Noble Lord realm, and you are at the human sovereign realm. You should be the one suppressing me." "Ha! Ha! Ha!" Yi Luo punched Lu Li and left with his goblet. Today, Lu Li was the star of the show. Too many people were looking for him. As Yi Luo expected, 2 young ladies walked over from the distance. The one in the lead was wearing a yellow dress. She was slim and graceful, attracting many men's attention. Zilian walked to Lu Li. She was smiling, but in the depth of her eyes, she could not hide the disappointment. She picked up her goblet and toasted to Lu Li from the distance. "Lu Li, congratulations." Lu Li nodded and took a sip. Then he sighed and said, "Lady Lian, I feel guilty about what happened to the Z family. Let me know if you need my help in the future." The northern desert was conquered. All the major families were massacred. Z family, Yu family, and Bai family were wiped out. Fortunately, many young masters and young ladies of those families had gone to the Inferno. Otherwise, the Z family and the Yu family would never rise again. Zilian pursed her lips, but did not say anything. She turned and left. She knew very well that she did not seize the chance back then. It was too late to say anything now. Lu Li was out of her league now. Many people came to toast to Lu Li. They drank from noon to night. Even though Lu Li could hold his liquor well, he was drunk. At night, Lu Ling asked Lu Li to leave. The three brides had been waiting anxiously in the bridal room for a whole day. Lu Ling and more than a dozen Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves were monitoring the city. The guests were being entertained by Lu Zhengyang and Lu Renwang. Lu Li decided not to worry about them anymore. He went to the backyard in a drunken state. But outside the three courtyards in the backyard, Lu Li was in a dilemma. Of the three wives, which one should he go to first? They would have objections if he went to one side, and they would have objections if he went to the other side. A moment later, Lu Li went to Jiang Qiling's courtyard. After all, Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang were sisters. Speaking of which, he had treated Jiang Qiling unfairly. Lu Li walked into the yard. Two maids were standing outside the door. When they saw Lu Li, they bowed and said, "Young master." Lu Li waved his hand to ask the maid to leave. He walked back into the room, his face reeking of alcohol. Red candles were flickering in the room. The Chinese characters of happy were pasted everywhere. A lady was sitting on the bed, wearing a red veil. She was like a budding flower, very attractive. Jiang Qiling lifted the veil, threw him a glance, and said, "You have some conscience. You came to see me first, but tonight you should go and spend time with my two sisters. We have been married for so long. There is no need for us to consummate our marriage." Jiang Qiling could be sensible at critical moments, which was what Lu Li liked about her. She was broad-minded. Sometimes she could be mischievous, but she knew when to stop. The night is still young. What's the hurry? Lu Li sat down on the bed. He stared at Jiang Qiling's blushing face, especially her red lips. After a while, he said, "Qiling, you are so beautiful." Ha! Jiang Qiling crawled into Lu Li's arms like a boneless snake. She blinked her eyes and said, "Do you really want to spend time with me first? Aren't you afraid that you will not be able to answer to my two sisters after I squeeze you dry?" Lu Li laughed. He carried Jiang Qiling in his arms and threw her onto the bed. He pounced on her like a hungry tiger and said without fear, "Jiang family patriarch, don't think too highly of yourself just because you are at the Earth Immortal Realm. I can still beat you until you drop to your knees and beg for mercy." Really? Chapter 8:15. It had been more than 2 hours by the time Lu Li came out from her room. Even though he was not weak in the knees, he was tormented by Jiang Qiling. He walked out of the yard and toward Bai Qiuxue. Once again, he became excited. He only had sex with Bai Qiuxue once, and that was when he couldn't move at all. It was more like he was raped by Bai Qiuxue. Lu Li walked into the room quietly. He waved his hand to dismiss the two maids who were about to salute him and walked into the room quietly. At the door, Lu Li heard some voices inside. He stopped and listened carefully. It was Bai Xiaoshuang and Bai Qiuxue chatting. "Sis, when do you think that bad guy Lu Li will come back?" "Sis, how about I go back now? It will be bad if that bad guy blocks the door." "Never mind. I'm scared. I will stay here with you." "Sis, do you think it will be painful?" "I heard it is very painful and scary." "Sis, didn't you do it with the bad guy? Was that a pleasure or a pain? How about you let the bad guy sleep with you at night, and I go to bed by myself?" It seemed that they were chatting, but it was Bai Xiaoshuang who was chatting on her own. Bai Qiuxue was shaking her head with a bitter smile. Every now and then, she would blush. Even though she had sex with Lu Li once, she was still as innocent as a young girl. She would be shy when she talked about it. Bai Xiaoshuang paced up and down in the room by herself. She would murmur every now and then, which amused Lu Li. Naturally, his breaths were short. Bai Qiuxue sensed it and asked, "Who is it?" 2 psychic powers were released. They were relieved to see that it was Lu Li. Then, their faces turned red. Bai Xiaoshuang was too shy to look up. She hurried out as Lu Li walked in. "Shuang, where are you going?" Lu Li grabbed Bai Xiaoshuang. Now that Bai Xiaoshuang was here, he would not let her go. It would be troublesome to run around. He might as well do it together. Lu Li was so excited that he trembled at the thought of the two sisters in bed. I need to go back, Bai Xiaoshuang was in a panic. Looking at Lu Li's passionate eyes, she tried to get rid of him and go back to her yard. What for? Lu Li smiled and said, If I go back, I will come back to find you later. Since you're here, the three of us can have a drink and chat for a while. Hearing Lu Li's words, Bai Xiaoshuang decided to stay. She was afraid to face Lu Li alone. Now that her sister was here and Lu Li said they were just going to drink and chat, she felt more at ease. Bai Qiuxue glared at Lu Li. She could see through Lu Li's trick right away. But she didn't say anything because her face was blushing. Lu Li asked some maids to bring them some food and wine. Here, my ladies, here is a toast. Lu Li grabbed their arms and sat down at the table. He poured them a goblet of wine and said solemnly, Madams, you have worked hard over the years. I am sorry that you have suffered. In the future, I will make it up to you. Lu Li said it in such a formal manner, and his expression was so serious that Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang were stunned. They picked up their goblets in a hurry. Lu Li gulped it down and stared at the two with passion. The two had no choice but to gulp it down. The two madams are really magnanimous. Lu Li filled up their glasses again. He looked at Bai Qiuxue and said, Qiuxue, you must have suffered a lot in the ice room. Let me propose a toast to you. Bai Qiuxue smiled. She gulped it down with a smile on her face. Then Lu Li turned to Bai Xiaoshuang and said, Shuang-er, you have worked hard as well. You're all alone at the snow mountain of dragons. Here, a toast to you. While they were talking, they downed several goblets of wine. The twins were not as good at drinking as Jiang Qiling. After a few goblets of wine, their faces turned red and their eyes became misty. Lu Li's heart skipped a beat. From today on, the two ladies will be married to me, Lu Li. I hope that in the future, we can share joys and sorrows and work together to build our home. If there's anything I didn't do well, I hope the two madams will forgive me in the future. Come on, madams, let me propose another toast to you. I am the only son of my bloodline. So, I hope you can do your best to reproduce. Come on, let's have a toast. Bai Xiaoshuang was taken aback by Lu Li's solemn manner, and his words were filled with bureaucratic language. Bai Xiaoshuang was too naive to think too much. In an instant, Lu Li had downed more than a dozen goblets of wine. Bai Qiuxue was amused. She was smart enough to know what Lu Li was up to. But tonight was a happy day, and she was in a good mood, so she didn't expose Lu Li's scheme. After more than a dozen goblets of wine, Bai Xiaoshuang felt lightheaded. Her eyelids were heavy. Soon, she fell asleep leaning against the table. It's done. Lu Li was overjoyed. Only when Bai Xiaoshuang was drunk could the deed be accomplished. He turned to Bai Qiuxue and said, Qiuxue, Shuang-er is drunk. Help her to the bed. Bai Qiuxue didn't move. She looked at Lu Li with tender eyes and said, Darling, put Shuang-er on the bed. I will go to the other room to rest. You must treat Shuang-er well and love her. Lu Li had worked so hard to set this up. How could he let Bai Qiuxue slip away? He grinned, picked up Bai Qiuxue by her waist, and walked to the bed. Looking at the shy Bai Qiuxue, Lu Li grinned and said, You want to run? Not so fast. Then, Lu Li carried Bai Xiaoshuang over. This time, he let her sleep in the bed and tucked her in. The night was still young. There was no hurry. Darling, turn off the light. Bai Qiuxue knew she could not escape from Lu Li's clutches. She looked at him with a blush and said, But Lu Li shook his head and said, You are the most beautiful thing in the world. Of course, I should enjoy your beauty. Otherwise, it would be a waste. Bai Qiuxue wanted to say something else, but Lu Li had pounced on her and kissed her on the lips. At the same time, he pulled her belt with one hand. The atmosphere in the room became more intimate. The candlelight flickered. The beauty in Lu Li's arms was as pretty as jade. There was a touch of shyness and joy on her pretty face, captivating people. The bed began to shake. The two of them became one. They forgot about everything, including Bai Xiaoshuang, who was sleeping next to them. They were immersed in the most primitive happiness. Phew, Bai Xiaoshuang, who was next to them, had woken up. She had to. She felt strange and numb all over her body. How could she fall asleep? The twins had strong telepathy. When Lu Li and Bai Qiushua made love, Bai Xiaoshuang could feel it. Simple as she was not completely clueless about the matters between men and women. Hearing Bai Qiushua's moans and Lu Li's short breaths, Bai Xiaoshuang's muscles tightened. Out of fear and nervousness, she could not help but breathe faster. Her chest was moving up and down, which was a pretty sight. Lu Li sensed that Bai Xiaoshuang had woken up, but he didn't point it out. After an hour, when Bai Qiushua was surrendering, Lu Li turned to Bai Xiaoshuang and said, "Shuang, you have been observing for a long time. Have you learned anything? How about I teach you?" Bai Xiaoshuang bounced up like a frightened rabbit. She was about to run out of the room and away from Lu Li's clutches. Unexpectedly, Lu Li reached out and grabbed the belt on her waist. He pulled hard, and half of Bai Xiaoshuang's body was exposed. Lu Li laughed. He stared at Bai Xiaoshuang like a demon and said, "Pretty, you are in my bed and you want to run?" "No way." Bai Xiaoshuang was thrown onto the bed. Soon, there were sounds of flirting in the room again. The two sisters were more beautiful than flowers. The bed was picturesque and beautiful. P.S. Only 2 chapters today. I had a fever last night. I went to the hospital for an injection because I couldn't take it anymore. I owe 4 chapters. I will make it up later. Chapter 8:16. The Mystic Armor City was bustling for a few days before the guests left. The major families in the demon-slaying hall had been quiet recently. Nobody dared to make trouble. Lu Zhengyang, Lu Renhuang, and Lu Ling were relieved. That being said, since Deputy Master had come to the wedding to express his goodwill, he would not go overboard. The situation in the demon-slaying battleground must be pretty bad. Lu Li didn't want to go to the demon-slaying battleground to help. He had a lot to deal with at the northern desert, the Clouds Plains, the Serenity Plains, the deserted world, and the Inferno. Also, Lu family and Jiang family disciples had to be relocated to the Inferno, and all kinds of arrangements had to be made. Naturally, he had no time to worry about the demon-slaying hall. Ji Mingtian, Ji Mingyao, and the other young disciples of the Samsara Palace had run away. Lu Li was afraid of Ji Mingtian. If they could find out where they were hiding, they had to kill them. Lu Li lived comfortably at the Mystic Armor Mountain for several days. He enjoyed the happiness of having 4 wives. His 3 wives were as beautiful as flowers and as gentle as water. It made him forget about the disputes in the outside world and the threat from the 9 realms. He really wanted time to stop. On the 5th day, Lu Ling found Lu Li and interrupted his peaceful life. Lu Ling decided to go back to the deserted world. There were too many things to deal with there. Tu and Hu Lang had been sent back, but there were still many things that needed her to take care of. Naturally, Lu Li was worried that Lu Ling would go back alone. He could send several Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves to protect her. What if Deputy Master suddenly took her down? Lu Li discussed with Lu Renhuang and Lu Zhengyang. In the end, Lu Zhengyang ordered Lu Renhuang, Lu Li, and Lu Ling to teleport to the Inferno with a group of young warriors and disciples. As for him and Great-Grandfather 5, they would continue to stay in the city of Mystic Armor. He was not afraid that the Deputy Master would attack him. In the demon-slaying hall, Patriarch of Law Enforcement's power was second only to Deputy Master. Patriarch of Law Enforcement could reach the semi-god realm at any time. Deputy Master must have some concerns. What was more, as long as Lu Li was alive, Deputy Master would be doomed if he dared to go against the Lu family. There was nothing Lu Li could do if Lu Zhengyang was unwilling to leave. But Deputy Master was not that stupid. With the pressure of the 4 races, his position as the Hall Master was still in jeopardy. He would definitely not take the initiative to provoke them. Lu Li sent someone to the City of Delicacy and asked Jiang Wuwa to go to the Inferno with him. If he felt that it was possible, he could transfer some of the Jiang family's disciples to preserve the seed. Jiang Wuwa was straightforward. He brought a few patriarchs of the Jiang family to the Mystic Armor City. Lu Li brought dozens of young disciples of the Lu family to the Inferno and put them into the Wicked Bead. He left 3 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves in the Mystic Armor City and took the rest with him. The group took the super teleportation formation to the city of Buddhas. The great Buddhist temple had secretly built a large teleportation formation that connected to the drifting cloud city of the cloud state. It was fast to get to the deserted world from there. At the city of Buddha, Evil Punisher and Prajna came out to greet them in person. Lu Li, Lu Renhuang, and Jiang Qiling went to thank the abbot. Prajna wanted to go to the deserted world with Lu Li. The abbot didn't object. Lu Li liked the little nun, so he asked Jiang Qiling, by Qiu Xue, and by Xia Shuang to take her along. The group continued to teleport and arrived at Drifting Cloud City. Tu and I had returned a long time ago. Drifting Cloud City had been massacred that day, and after a period of time, it had recovered some of its vitality. The teleportation portal had not been completely destroyed, or else it would have been troublesome to repair. This time, they did not stop. They teleported from the Drifting Cloud City to the entrance of the deserted world. Lu Li left 5 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves to guard the entrance, and many scouts were stationed here. This was the only entrance to the deserted world. If it was destroyed, it would be difficult for them to return to the Heaven Reverse Universe. Inside the deserted world, they teleported to the Shadowland City. Kameng and a group of people welcomed them in the city. Several new castles and yards were built in the Shadowland City for Lu Li and the guests to live in. The Shadowland City was expanded by several times. Many major races had migrated here. All the Titan race had moved to the mountains nearby. It seemed that the Shadowland City had become the center of the deserted world. Jiang Hua, Lu Renhuang, Lu Li, Lu Ling, and other patriarchs of the Jiang family went to the Inferno. The Xian Qi in heaven and earth is so rich. As soon as they came in, Jiang Hua noticed the difference. The Xian Qi in heaven and earth was much richer than at the Central Plains. The temperature here was high, but it was bearable for warriors. Lu Li smiled and said, "In the Inferno, the most amazing thing is not the Xian Qi in heaven and earth. It's the speed of comprehending profound meanings. Sis, tell us the progress of our people's breakthrough." Lu Ling said with pride, "Over the years, we have 9 human sovereign realm warriors in the Inferno. More than 300 noble Lord Realm warriors made the breakthrough. More than half of them learned profound meanings of different levels." This time, even Lu Renhuang was surprised. Jiang Hua and the others were taken aback. Lu Li used psychic power to check many camps in the base camp. He could tell that many of the ancient races were young, but they had reached the noble Lord realm. There were many humans as well. They must be disciples from major families of the northern desert, Cloud's Plains, and the Serenity Plains. It was impressive that they could reach the noble Lord realm at such a young age. At the Central Plains, only disciples of super families could have such potential, not to mention that more than half of them had learned profound meanings. Some patriarchs of the Jiang family did not believe it. Lu Li threw Mingyu a look. The latter went to the castles, and soon he came back with groups of young disciples. "Release the profound meanings you have learned." Mingyu waved his hand. The young disciples began to release their profound meanings nervously. Of course, they dared not to use all of their strength. A young girl of the Z family slapped the ground. The ground trembled, and the tremors spread to the distance. A young master of the Tu family was covered in flames, and many fire crows came out. A warrior of the ancient race created a huge shield of fire which spun around him. It was quite a beautiful sight. A warrior of the Cyan Phoenix race released sparks which danced around like fire lotuses. The temperature inside the sparks was scorching. Mingyu brought out dozens of young people. They were all younger than 30, and all of them had reached the noble Lord realm. They were quite talented, not to mention that they had learned profound meanings. Good, Jiang Hua nodded. Realms were easy to cultivate, but profound meanings were the hardest. Just as Lu Li and Lu Ling said, the Inferno was a land of treasures. Fire, wood, earth, water, gold, ice, wind, darkness, soul, and thunder. Lu Renhuang was thrilled. More than half of the dozens of people he brought out had learned profound meanings related to fire. In other words, it would be easier to learn profound meanings related to wood in the prison of wood and earth in the prison of earth. Based on this, it would be easier to learn profound meanings related to ice in the prison of ice. Lu Renhuang's most powerful profound meaning was the one he learned in the ice abyss, an 8th rank profound meaning. On this thought, Lu Renhuang was filled with fighting spirit. He wished he could go to the prison of ice at once to learn the ultimate profound meaning related to ice and integrate it into a 9th rank profound meaning. Prison of Thunder. Chapter 817. Whoosh, they flew around the inferno. The vastness of the inferno scared Jiang Wua and the others. Even though many mystical materials had been collected by Lu Ling and the others, after a while, new mystical materials were being produced in many places. The Xianqi in heaven and earth was rich enough to breed mystical materials. Learning that the inferno was not smaller than the heaven reverse universe, Jiang Wua and the others were tempted. Jiang Wua decided to relocate more than half of the young disciples of the family here at once. Also, some young noble lord realm warriors of the family were relocated here. If what Luli said was true, the Jiang family disciples could rise up quickly after decades of dormancy. Lu Renhuang was intrigued. He decided to relocate most of the Lu family disciples here. They would be punished by nature if they didn't cherish such a precious place. Back at the deserted world, Lu Li and Lu Ling were busy. First of all, they sent someone to search around the deserted world to find another passageway. The passageway to the northern desert had been destroyed. There was only one passageway left. If this passageway was destroyed as well, they would never have the chance to go back to the heaven reverse universe. At the same time, Lu Li planned to build a city at the entrance to the deserted world of the Serenity Plains and build 2 protective formations. Even if Deputy Master were to attack, the protective formations could buy them some time to get out. A large number of warriors were mobilized. Kumang was the main force of the inhibition formations. The Shadowland race had not only illusions, but also formations of destruction. 1 or 2 formations of destruction and illusions at the entrance to the deserted world could increase the defense. At the same time, Lu Li planned to build 2 super teleportation formations in the cities outside to connect the City of Delicacy and the City of Mystic Armor directly. In this way, when the 2 cities were under attack, they could send reinforcements at once. Lu Li also sent people to build cities in the Inferno. After all, they could not cultivate all the time with so many people in the city. Building several cities in the Inferno could provide a balance between work and rest. Lu Li asked Lung Wuxin to bring some scouts to the entrance of the towering mountain in the prison of wood to hide there. They could be alerted if warriors came down. The surviving disciples of the Clouds Plains, Serenity Plains, and the Northern Desert were all relocated to the deserted world. Hu Lang, Tu and I, and other family members had moved here long ago, concentrating on developing in the Inferno. Jiang Hua went back to arrange the relocation of disciples and build super teleportation formations. Lu Renhuang went back to the City of Mystic Armor in person to convince Lu Xingyang. Lu Xingyang was inflexible. If he didn't go back in person, he wouldn't agree. She sent out many scouts to monitor the entire Great Land. If they were found out, they could just say they were on Lu Li's team. Which family would dare to kill them? Jiang Qiling and Bai Qiuxue entered the Inferno to cultivate. Jiang Qiling had just reached the Earth Immortal realm, and she needed to stabilize her realm. Lu Li went to the Inferno as well. He left everything to Lu Ling. He was ready to reach the human sovereign realm. If he could reach the human sovereign realm, he would be able to dissolve the second seal of the wicked bead. By then, he would acquire new skills. To break through to the human sovereign realm, the first requirement was the realm. The second requirement was the strength of the soul pond. The third requirement was the mystical materials. Most importantly, one had to understand a powerful, profound meaning. Zi Huanxiao and Yu Huaxin tried many times, but they all failed because they didn't have a powerful, profound meaning. Ming Yu succeeded in breaking through to the Renhuang plane on his first try because he had comprehended the 7th grade profound meaning, space seal. Therefore, comprehending powerful, profound meanings was very important to breaking through to the human sovereign realm. Lu Li had learned many profound meanings, but none of them were of a high level. Therefore, he was not confident. That being said, he did learn a line diagram in the Zen Valley. He felt it was abstruse. If he could study it further, he might be able to learn a powerful, profound meaning. A luxurious castle was built in the base camp. Lu Li, Jiang Qiling, and Bai Qiushua lived in there. There were guards outside and maids in the castle. Regular people were not allowed in. Bai Qiushua was at the peak of the noble lord realm, and she was ready to reach the human sovereign realm as well. Bai Xiaoshuang was more fun. Her realm was lower than Bai Qiushua's, only at the middle stage of the noble lord realm. Lu Li could tell that Bai Xiaoshuang didn't like cultivation, so he asked her to take Little White and Prajna on a tour around the deserted world. 2 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves were with them to ensure their safety. Lu Ling would usually stay in the Inferno Castle to cultivate after she made the arrangements. The date of Ming Yu and Lu Feishue's wedding was set. It would be a few days after Lu Hongyu and Yi Luo's wedding, so that Lu Li wouldn't have to run around. The city at the entrance to the deserted world at the Serenity Plains was soon built. Tu and I and Hu Lang mobilized a large number of people to build the city. The city was not large, but it was strong. Kumang and the patriarchs of a Shadowland race mobilized a large number of materials to build 2 layers of protection. Outside the city, there was a formation of illusion and a formation of destruction. If it were just some average Earth Immortal Realm warriors, it would take them months to crack the formation. Not even Deputy Master could crack the formation in 1 or 2 days. Kumang was confident. After all, he was building an ancient formation of destruction. Lu Li was relieved to hear the report. He asked Hu Lang and 5 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves to guard the city outside. The city was named the Serene Cloud City. The construction of the super teleportation formation began. Kumang was proficient in all kinds of formations. He could build super teleportation formations as well. It was just that he didn't have the materials. A month later, the city and the 2 super teleportation formations were finished. Disciples of the Jiang family and Lu family were teleported over. Mingyu sent them to the Inferno to settle down. 2 small cities were built in the Inferno. The cities could accommodate hundreds of thousands of people. All kinds of materials were transferred over from the deserted world. Formations were built in the cities to insulate the heat. Living in the cities was no different from living outside. With the super teleportation formations at the city of Delicacy and the Northern Desert, Lu Li could take care of the Northern Desert now. That being said, all the families of the Northern Desert had been wiped out. Lu Ling had to ask Madame Yin to go back and rebuild the Ling Empress City. She sent talented children to the Inferno and many mystical materials to help the families of the Northern Desert recover. The Central Plains was peaceful. Lu Li didn't make any trouble. The other powerful warriors of the other families had been transferred to the demon-slaying battleground. Ji Mengtian, Ji Mengyao, and many other disciples of the Ji family went to the demon-slaying city. Deputy Master ordered them to cultivate in the demon-slaying city. Unless Lu Li attacked the demon-slaying city, he could not kill them. The 4 alien races were fighting against the human armies in the demon-slaying battleground. How could Lu Li risk the world to attack the demon-slaying city? For now, he had to suppress his anger and focus on cultivation. Lu Renhuang went to the prison of wood with Lung Wuxin to challenge the beasts of primordial chaos there. Lu Li gave Lu Renhuang a Zen bead, which could isolate the beasts of primordial chaos at critical moments. Lu Renhuang was strong, so his life would not be in danger. Time zipped by. Half a year had passed. Today, the super teleportation formation at the Serene Cloud City, a small city at the entrance to the deserted world, glowed. 2 special guests had arrived. They were Jiang Tianshun and great-grandfather 3. One of them was a Jiang family progenitor and the other a Lu family progenitor. Mingyu did not dare to stop them. He brought them to the deserted world and then the Inferno. Lu Li, Lu Ling, and Jiang Qiling all came out to greet them. Chapter 8:18. In the beginning, the four alien races were not united. However, after the Asmodean Master became an Asmodean Lord, the four alien races became more united. They saw hope. They were determined to wipe out the demon-slaying Hall, invade the great land, and occupy this beautiful and fertile land. Once upon a time, the four alien races could summon wind and rain at the Central Plains. Just like the Cyan Phoenix race, the Central Plains was their ancestral land. Their ancestors were buried here, and their glory was here. For hundreds of thousands of years, the four alien races have been dreaming every day and night of going back to the Great Land to reclaim their ancestral land and restore their former glory. Therefore, this time, the four alien races were particularly aggressive. They sent out all their powerful warriors, and a large number of warriors gathered at the demon-slaying battleground. The four alien races were multiplying fast. The Asmodeans had a large population. They were not afraid of loss. On the other hand, the human side had suffered heavy casualties and was in danger. Deputy Master did not ask for help. He could not bring himself to do so. He had to ask Patriarch of Law Enforcement to come and ask Lu Li for help. Lu Ling had walking puppets, which were her trump card against low-level warriors. With the wicked bead, Lu Li was not afraid of the Asmodean Lord. What was more, Lu Li had a group of Earth Immortal Realm warriors as his subordinates, and Lu Renhuang was a strong fighter. Once they were there to help, the situation could be changed. Jiang Tianshun and Great-Grandfather 3 told them about the situation in the demon-slaying battleground. Jiang Qiling and Lu Ling looked at Lu Li. It was up to him to decide whether to go or not. Lu Ling had her own plans. That being said, Lu Li was more or less the backbone of their group. Everything had to follow his orders. After the time for half an incense stick to burn, Lu Li put on a solemn expression. He stood up and said, "Grandpa Jiang, Great-Grandfather 3, please go back and tell Patriarch of Law Enforcement that I will bring someone to the demon-slaying battleground after I get ready. I will be there in a month and a half at most." Okay. Jiang Tianshun and Great-Grandfather 3 looked at each other. Both of them were gratified. Lu Li had made a clear distinction between personal grudges and the struggle between races. They felt they had come in vain. The two left at once. The situation in the demon-slaying battleground was getting worse by the day. They had to go back and take charge. After they left, Jiang Qiling asked Lu Li, "Are we really going to fight?" "Yes." Lu Li nodded and said, "The feud with Deputy Master and the other families is an internal conflict of the human race. The war with the four races was a war between races. Personal grievances and hatred between races had to be clearly distinguished. What was more, if I did not go to the demon-slaying grounds, how would I have the chance to kill Ji Mengtian and Yang Xian? If we don't kill them, they'll bite us like venomous snakes sooner or later. When I get the chance, I'll finish them off." Lu Li is right. Lu Ling nodded and said, "Personal grudges are personal grudges, and family feuds are family feuds." However, his father was in the prison of wood at the moment, and it would take some time for him to return. And I can send people to refine some puppet beasts during this period of time. The combat ability of the puppet beasts was comparable to that of a human sovereign. They were impervious to weapons, and ordinary human sovereigns would find it difficult to destroy them. They were the most ferocious against the alien clan armies, and they were extremely lethal. He had killed many chaos beasts in the Inferno prison and sealed many beast souls. He had also prepared many spirit ingredients. He could easily refine a batch of chaos beasts. Lu Li went back to cultivation and sent Lung Wuxin to find Lu Renhuang. Lu Renhuang was a powerful warrior. It was a piece of cake for them to work together to kill Earth Immortal Realm warriors of the four alien races. The situation at the deserted world, Inferno, Clouds Plains, Serenity Plains, and the Northern Desert had been stabilized. Though the casualties were heavy, what Lu Li did at the Samsara City had spread across the Great Land. The destruction of the Samsara Palace could be regarded as revenge for those who had died. The people's hearts were calming down. Lu Li continued to study the line diagram, while Lu Ling arranged for people to make more walking puppets. Lung Wuxin went to find Lu Renhuang. Mingyu deployed warriors. He planned to send those who had achieved success in cultivation and wanted to go to the demon-slaying grounds to join the fight. Realm did not represent combat abilities. If a warrior relied on closed-door cultivation, he or she could reach the human sovereign realm, but they would still be killed by powerful, noble Lord Realm warriors. To have strong abilities, one must be honed through many bloody battles in order to grow. More than 20 days later, Lu Renhuang came back with 50 walking puppets. There was not enough time. Even though there were enough mystical materials and beast souls, Lu Ling could only make so many walking puppets with many people working overnight. Lu Ling decided not to join the fight this time. She left the way to control the walking puppets to Lu Li. She needed to stay in the Inferno, and she wanted to cultivate as well. She was a fire phoenix birth. It would be a waste if she didn't cultivate. Lu Li decided on the candidates. He would only take 5 of the 13 Earth Immortal Realm warriors with him. The rest would either stay in the city of Mystic Armor, the serene cloud city at the entrance to the deserted world, or stay in the deserted world. Yi Cha had reached the human sovereign realm a long time ago. Naturally, he had to go. He was the best scout, and Lu Li needed him as scout. Meng Ji requested to go. He had reached the human sovereign realm, and he wanted to restore the glory of the mammoth race. The mammoth race and the cyan phoenix race were famous in the ancient times. After so many years of silence, it was time for them to shine again. With Lu Li here, the two races no longer had to hide. They could walk around in the open. Nobody would dare to kill them, even if they went back to the Central Plains. Lu Li promised to help them take back their ancestral lands. He could do that now. The ancestral lands of the two races were on the territory of the Yiksha race. Lu Li could wipe out the Yiksha race at will and help them take back their ancestral lands. Even though Lu Li had not taken action yet, he was still young. When he grew up and unified the world, taking back their ancestral lands would be a piece of cake. The young masters of the Bai family, Yu family, and the Z family all signed up. Many other young disciples responded. They had been cultivating in the Inferno for a long time. It was a rare opportunity to go out and practice. Moreover, they were going with Lu Li and Lu Renhuang. How could they miss such a good chance? The Wicked Bead could not accommodate so many people. Those were just average warriors. No matter how insane Deputy Master was, he would not go so far as to kill them. Lu Li told the warriors to teleport to the great Buddhist temple, and then they would go to the demon-slaying city to join the fight. Lu Li did not care if they lived or died because of this, as long as Deputy Master or the other families did not act rashly. The fight against the alien races would go according to the rules. Yi Cha, together with several patriarchs of the Cyan Phoenix race, went ahead with this group of warriors. They were to explore the way for Lu Li and the others. As long as Lu Li was alive, nobody would dare to make things difficult for Yi Cha. When everything was ready, Lu Li bid farewell to Bai Qiushue and Bai Xiaoshuang with Jiang Qiling and Little White, and left the deserted world with Lu Renhuang. They teleported to the city of Mystic Armor and entered the demon-slaying battleground from there. When they arrived at the city of Mystic Armor, Lu Li was surprised to see Yi Luo waiting with a group of warriors. 3 months ago, Yi Luo held his wedding. Lu Li, Lu Ling, and Lu Zhengyang all attended in person. Lu Renhuang went to the prison of wood and did not come back. You're going to the demon-slaying battleground as well. Lu Li took a look. There were many human sovereign realm warriors from the tumulus of universe and an earth immortal realm warrior. It was a strong team with at least 1,000 noble lord realm warriors. Ha ha ha. Yi Luo laughed and said, the human race is in danger. When the nest is overturned, no egg can remain intact. You are all here. How can the Yi family be a coward? Lu Li, it has been many years since we fought side by side. I miss you so much. This is a good chance for me to witness young Master Li's prowess. Let's go then. Let us fight side by side and defeat the alien races. Lu Li waved his hand. They flew toward the north where there was an entrance to the demon-slaying battleground. Lu Zhengyang and Great-Grandfather Five watched as Lu Li and the others left. Great-Grandfather Five said to Lu Zhengyang with a smile, Zhengyang, you have a good grandson. Maybe the second Emperor of Heaven Reverse will show up soon, and he will come to the Lu family. Lu Jingyang's rigid face cracked into a smile. He was pleased and satisfied. P.S. I'm still taking the injection. I still owe 4 chapters. Chapter 819. The demon-slaying city used to be a lively city with a population of 1 million. The lowest was at the noble lord realm. There were countless human sovereign realm warriors, and the exact number of earth immortal realm warriors was unknown. This was the gathering place for powerful human warriors of the great land. When the older generations of the families reached a certain age, they would choose to come to the demon-slaying city to contribute their last bit of energy and fight for the protection of the human race. It was easy to make breakthroughs in battles. The demon-slaying hall had the best mystical materials for the human race. There were also marks of nature's rhythms and warriors' profound meanings in many places. It was easier for warriors to learn profound meanings. That was why powerful warriors were attracted here. On the path of martial arts, one could change one's destiny. They had lived long enough. They were successful and had many children and grandchildren. Often, those old warriors would lose their goals. Coming to the demon-slaying city to reach the highest realm became their only pursuit. The demon-slaying city had a permanent population of 1 million. However, when Lu Li and the others arrived, they could tell from the distance that more than half of the population was gone. At most, only 100,000 were left. They should have all gone to the front line. The demon-slaying city had activated a 7-colored shield. Clearly, they were afraid that the 4 alien races would sneak up on them. Lu Li, Yi Luo, Lu Li, and some reinforcements from the Lu family stood at the foot of the towering city. Looking at the 3 words, demon-slaying city, emitting strong, murderous intent, Lu Li exclaimed. The city had been standing for hundreds of thousands of years. It had protected the human race for hundreds of thousands of years. Never had it fallen. If the city were to fall, the human race would go back to the ancient times. They would be enslaved by the alien races, slaughtered at will, and turned into livestock. Whoosh! 2 people flew over the city. It was Jiang Tianshun and Great-Grandfather 3. They used psychic power to check through the shield, making sure that it was Lu Li and Lu Renhuang. Great-Grandfather 3 waved his hand and said, "Open the shield." After a moment, the city glowed and the shield disappeared. Lu Li and the hundreds walked into the city. As soon as they went in, they used psychic power to check. There were not many Earth Immortal Realm warriors in the city. Apart from Jiang Tianshun and Great-Grandfather 3, there were only 5 Earth Immortal Realm warriors guarding the city. Deputy Master and Patriarch of Law Enforcement were not here. All the Earth Immortal Realm warriors were here. Many human Sovereign Realm warriors came to greet them as well. They were all polite. Lu Li had killed patriarchs of the demon-slaying hall at the Samsara city, which was equal to declaring war against the demon-slaying hall and humiliating them. But who was Lu Li now? The force he represented could compete with the demon-slaying hall. He could destroy the Samsara palace right in front of Deputy Master. He was invited by the demon-slaying hall to fight against the 4 alien races. Who dared to disrespect him? Back in the days, Lu Li was only at the Eternal Realm. When he entered the small battlefield, he defeated the entire battlefield and even imprisoned Jimeng Tian, Lu Xuan, and Yang Xian in the Ding, a barbarian god, for more than a month. After he came out, he had the courage to challenge the authority of the demon-slaying hall on his own. He even killed someone in front of all the powerful warriors in the city. Who would have the courage to provoke such a cruel and violent person? If one angered him, he would start killing. The 100,000 people left in the demon-slaying city were not enough for him to kill. More importantly, Lu Li was here to help. If they angered him, he would turn around and leave. Who could bear the responsibility when the higher-ups found out? Third great-grandfather, Grandpa Jiang. Lu Li bowed to Great-Grandfather 3 and Jiang Tianshun and said nothing else. Yi Luo, on the other hand, was polite and courteous to everyone who came to greet him. They walked in while exchanging pleasantries. When they reached the statue of Emperor of Heaven Reverse, Lu Li suddenly stopped. Then He dropped to one knee and saluted with respect. Lu Renwang, Jiang Qiling, and the others bowed to show their respect to the guardian of the human race. For so many years, the demon-slaying city had remained unbreached. It was not only because of the efforts of generations of human ancestors, but also because of the statue. The statue was the core of the shield. Emperor of Heaven reverses divine energy was left in the statue to strengthen the shield. Otherwise, the demon-slaying city would have been breached many times in history. This time, the statue did not glow. Lu Li and the others went to a hall after they bowed. Lu Li and the others knew nothing about the situation in the demon-slaying battleground. They must understand the situation before they could think of a way to help. In the hall, there was a huge sand table. Jiang Tianshun and great-grandfather 3 had it ready. This sand table was very big, and it was done very meticulously. Every mountain peak and every river was perfectly engraved on it, and it could be seen at a glance. Lu Li and the others had a general idea of the demon-slaying battleground after a few glances. The demon-slaying battleground was large as the deserted world. There were many entrances and exits. Humans occupied 1/3 of the entrances and exits to the east of the demon-slaying city. The demon-slaying city was in a good position. It perfectly protected all the entrances to the Great Land. Of course, there must be other entrances and exits to the Great Land. They were either secretly hidden or destroyed. To the west of the demon-slaying city were 2 huge mountains. The mountains towered into the clouds. At the top of the mountains, countless formations of destruction were built by the chosen warriors. It would be difficult to reach the demon-slaying city from the 2 mountains. Between the 2 mountains was a valley. This was the only safe way to the demon-slaying city. The purpose of the demon-slaying city's existence was to guard this valley. Outside the valley was the vast wilderness. That was the real demon-slaying battleground. Humans had built 3 cities here, namely the Heaven Blood City, the Earth Blood City, and the Monster Blood City. Together with the demon-slaying city, they formed the famous 4 cities of heaven, earth, monsters, and beasts. The main forces of humans were stationed in the Heaven Blood City, Earth Blood City, and Monster Blood City. The 3 cities formed a triangle. They could communicate with each other and could send reinforcements at any time. It was known as the Golden Triangle. The 3 cities were on the other side of the valley. If the 3 cities fell, all the powerful warriors of the human race would have to retreat to the valley and fight to the death. If the valley could not be defended, the demon-slaying city would be the last resort. In the corners of the wilderness, there were many cities scattered in different directions. They belonged to the Feather race, the Barbarian race, the Asmodeans, and the Voodoo race. In history, after the chosen warriors emerged from the human race, they would lead the human armies to wipe out the cities of the 4 alien races. They also killed their way into the 4 lands and defeated the alien races many times. Great-grandfather 3, Grandpa Jiang. Lu Li frowned and asked, "There is an Asmodean lord among the Asmodeans, and Deputy Master is also a chosen warrior. Theoretically speaking, their comprehensive abilities should be about the same. Why can't the human race survive this time? Do the 4 alien races have other tricks up their sleeves?" Yes. Great-grandfather 3 sighed and said, "Recently, the Voodoo race has developed a special poison called Voodoo poison. It is horrifying, and we have not found the antidote yet. In the previous battles, many warriors died from the poison. Now we are forced to retreat back to the cities. The 4 alien races have been attacking day and night. The 3 cities are in danger. That is why we have asked for your help." Voodoo poison. Lu Li, Lu Renwang, and Yi Luo looked at each other. Lu Li and Lu Renwang could find a way to kill powerful warriors, but they could not deal with the voodoo poison. Lu Zhenyang had been frozen for so many years. In the end, Lu Renwang had to go to the voodoo land of the south to find the antidote. Chapter 820. The barbarian race was strong in defense, and they could use thunderbolts. The Feather race was as fast as lightning, and they were skilled in archery. The Asmodeans were insidious and cunning. They knew how to pierce through space and hide, which was the most insidious. The voodoo race was not strong in defense, and they only had a few means of attack. But their poison was the most horrifying. Luli thought about it. Without a cure, there was no way they could win the war. After a while, he turned around and asked the Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves behind him, "Do any of you know about poisons and undead insects?" Jiang Tianshun and Great-Grandfather 3 were excited. If Lu Li's people could cure the voodoo toxin, then the war would be promising. Uncle 9 of the June family came with Lu Li. He glanced over to the others. The other 4 shook their heads. Uncle 9 of the June family thought of something and said, "I don't think we are good at this. Speaking of poisons and undead insects, I think the girl of the Lung family knows something. I heard that she has been studying these since she was little." Lung Wuxin. Lu Li was intrigued. Lung Wuxin once gave him a poison. Yin Qingxi said that there were less than 3 people in the entire Central Imperial Universe that could cure the poison. From this, Lu Li could tell that Lung Wuxin was quite accomplished in poisons. Luckily, I didn't kill Lung Wuxin. She is useful. Lung felt lucky that she didn't bring Lung Wuxin with her. She stayed in the Inferno. Lu Li thought about it and said to Great-Grandfather 3, "Great-Grandfather 3, please go to the deserted world in person with my token and find my sister. Bring Lung Wuxin here." "Okay." Great-Grandfather 3 answered at once. He took over Lu Li's token and left the city in a hurry. It would take some time for Great-Grandfather 3 to come back. If Lung Wuxin could be cured, then the situation of the human race could be changed. After Great-Grandfather 3 left, Lu Li turned to the Heaven, Earth, and Monster Blood cities and asked, "Which city are Deputy Master and my great-grandpa at?" Jiang Tianshun smiled embarrassedly and said, "Lu Li, Grandmaster Ji is the Grandmaster now. Please be mindful of how you address him. Hall Master is currently in Monster Blood City. Elder of Law Enforcement is overseeing Heaven Blood City, and Elder Qianhuan Hana Battle Hall is overseeing Earth Blood City." Lu Li took a look. The Monster Blood City was at the rear, while the Heaven Blood City and the Earth Blood City were at the front. Lu Li nodded and said, "Then let us go to the Heaven Blood City and have a look. We will observe the situation, and then we will make plans." "All right, the people you sent earlier are all in Heaven Murder City." Jiang Tianshun nodded. Even though Patriarch of Law Enforcement Soul had been reconstructed, he was still Lu Li's great-grandpa. Even if he did not side with Lu Li, he would at least remain neutral. He would not help Deputy Master to harm Lu Li. Everyone followed Jiang Tianshun out of the square and stepped into the teleportation array. In the teleportation formation, the 5 Earth Immortal Realm warriors surrounded Lu Li in case he would be assassinated. After a flash of white light, they arrived at another city. This city was about the same size as the demon-slaying city, but with a much larger population, at least 1 million. Usually, the demon-slaying battleground would be guarded by over 1 million powerful warriors. This time, after Deputy Master issued the order, families of the Central Plains and other continents and many reclusive warriors responded. At least 1 or 2 million warriors above the Noble Lord realm had come to help. Over 80% of the powerful warriors of the human race had gathered in the 4 cities. As soon as Lu Li and the others arrived, psychic power was locked on them. Lu Li, Lu Renhuang, and the other 5 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves checked with psychic power at once to see if there was any danger in the city. Lu Li and Lu Renhuang felt a bit relieved after a quick check. Deputy Master was not in the Heaven Blood City. There were over 30 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves in the city, but most of them were from the Lu family, the Jiang family, the Great Buddhist Temple, and the Tumulus of Universe. None of them were enemies of Lu Li. It seemed that Deputy Master had a plan when he arranged the warriors. After all, if Yang Buqing and Che the Terror were in the city, they would be killed by Lu Li right away. Renhuang, Lu Li, Qiling, come into the hall. I am in control of the city. An old voice came. Lu Li was relieved. Since Patriarch of Law Enforcement had said so, it must be safe. That was his great-grandpa. Even though his soul had been reconstructed, he would not harm Lu Li. They walked into the hall in a formidable array. At the door, there were people taking the human sovereign realm warriors and noble lord realm warriors of the Lu family and the Yi family away. Lu Li and the others entered the hall. The hall was magnificent. Sitting in a row were all Earth Immortal Realm patriarchs. There were 34 of them in total. Many of them were white-haired old men. Some of them looked lethargic, as if they could pass away at any moment. Lu Li, Lu Renhuang, Yi Luo, and Jiang Qiling put on solemn expressions. Many of the Earth Immortal Realm warriors were over 1,000 years old. They were the only founding fathers of the human race. They had been here for a long time, and they had been guarding for so many years. They had fought for the human race, and they had endured 1,000 years of loneliness. Lu Renhuang stepped out from the crowd and bowed to the warriors with Lu Li and the others. Lu Li was humble. He did not become arrogant just because he was powerful. Good. Lu Li's attitude won him praise from many old warriors. There were 5 Earth Immortal Realm warriors behind Lu Li. 3 of the 5 were at the later stage and the peak of the Earth Immortal Realm, which was impressive. The news of Lu Renhuang's fight at the Samsara City had reached the demon-slaying hall. Lu Renhuang had a 9th rank mystic armor, which was something not even Patriarch of Law Enforcement could achieve. He fought against 5 family masters alone and killed Xiao Wanjun, the master of the Life League, with 1 move. As far as the old warriors were concerned, Lu Renhuang could defeat more than half of them here. Jiang Qiling had reached the Earth Immortal Realm at such a young age. The future chosen warrior treated them with respect, which pleased the old warriors. Those old warriors had their souls reconstructed. Over the years, they had forgotten about their own families, their future, and their past. They almost didn't care about the outside world. They only had 2 obsessions. The first was to guard the demon-slaying grounds, and the second was to cultivate and become immortals. Of course, many old warriors had lost all hope. The longer one lived, the more difficult it was to make breakthroughs in realms. The older one was, the weaker his functions would be. More importantly, his mind would be more rigid. It would be much more difficult for him to make breakthroughs in profound meanings compared to the young. Young people were quick-witted and they could learn quickly. Since their minds were not mature, they were the most tolerant and creative. That was why the young talents were valued by the families. Lu Renhuang, Lu Li, Jiang Qiling, Yi Luo, you are all good. Someone, please take a seat. Patriarch of Law Enforcement said. He didn't show any emotion on his face, which was old-fashioned and solemn. But everyone at the demon-slaying hall knew that Patriarch of Law Enforcement never praised anyone. It was a first for him to praise Lu Renhuang, Lu Li, and Yi Luo in public. Lu Li and Jiang Qiling didn't mind. Lu Renhuang put on a smile. After all, Patriarch of Law Enforcement was the grandpa he admired since he was a kid. This was the first time in his life that someone praised him. Yi Luo was beaming from ear to ear. To be praised by Patriarch of Law Enforcement was something to be proud of. Also, he felt flattered to be able to sit with a group of Earth Immortal Realm warriors. Chapter 821. There were several empty seats on the first row on the left. Patriarch of Law Enforcement treated them well. When they were all seated, Patriarch of Law Enforcement said, Lu Li, the warriors you sent are settled down. They are in the manor in the city, but they haven't come out yet. You must have heard the reason. Yes. Lu Li nodded and asked, didn't you think about capturing a powerful warrior of the voodoo race to get the antidote? Yes, an old man on the right said. We took the risk and captured 3 powerful warriors of the voodoo race. One of them was at the Earth Immortal Realm. We searched his soul immediately. But the voodoo poison developed by the voodoo race is an ancient poison. Only their master knows how to make the antidote at the moment. That is why their master has been staying in the city. There is nothing we can do. Lu Li thought about it. He used psychic power to check outside. There was no army outside the city. Lu Li asked, didn't you say that they had been attacking day and night? Why didn't they attack today? Another patriarch stood up and said, yesterday, Grandmaster, Patriarch of Law Enforcement, and Patriarch Qianhuan led powerful warriors in person. They killed some warriors of the 4 alien races before they left. I think they will attack again tonight. Then let's wait and see. It was pointless to ask questions. It was better to watch. Luli had seen the 4 alien races before. He could decide how to fight based on the situation. Lu Renhuang didn't have any more questions. Lu Renhuang didn't have much to ask. They all quieted down. Lu Li stood up and asked, "Are Yi Cha and the others here?" "Yes." A patriarch nodded. Lu Li cupped his fist to Patriarch of Law Enforcement and said, "I will let them go out and have a look." Patriarch Lei, go and make the arrangements. Patriarch of Law Enforcement waved his hand. The Cyan Phoenix race was the best scout of the Great Land. Nobody doubted this. It was a pity that Yi Cha hadn't reached the Earth Immortal Realm, or else not even the Asmodeans could stop him. Lu Li left with Patriarch Lei. Jiang Qiling and Yi Luo felt the atmosphere in the hall was depressing, so they came out as well. Lu Renhuang stayed with the senior warriors. Patriarch Lei walked out with Lu Li and the other 2. As soon as they were outside, many people sensed psychic power. More people came out and looked at Lu Li from the distance. Lu Li was surrounded by 5 Earth Immortal Realm warriors. He was wearing an embroidered robe and had an impressive appearance. Jiang Qiling was with him, which was quite eye-catching. Many people were jealous of Lu Li. Of course, many young masters were admiring Lu Li, and some pretty ladies were looking at him with passion. Huh. Lu Li, you are very popular now. Jiang Qiling suddenly whispered to Lu Li's ear, "Look at how those young ladies are looking at you. They want to eat you up. You probably just have to beckon with your finger, and they'll come to you." Jiang Qiling smiled sweetly, and her tone was gentle. However, Lu Li felt a gust of cold wind on his back. He put on a straight face and said, "Am I that kind of man? Do you see me looking at them? I'm not Yi Luo." Yi Luo was standing next to Lu Li. He was looking at the young ladies. Hearing Lu Li's words, Yi Luo felt embarrassed. He cleared his throat and said, "Lu Li, what are you talking about? You're not that kind of person, am I? Heaven and earth can bear witness to my feelings for Hong Yu." Ha. Jiang Qiling smiled gently. She glanced at Yi Luo and said, "I will talk to Hong Yu later. I will tell her how loyal you are." Yi Luo's face turned pale. He bowed to Jiang Qiling at once and said, "My lady, please spare me." While they were chatting and laughing, they went into a manor where all the people sent by Lu Li were here. Meng Ji, the Mammoth race, and the Titan race were also here, but the rooms were too small. They had to sit on the open space. Bai Gu, Zilian, and the others were here, including Yi Cha. Lu Li went in and greeted them. Then, he gathered Yi Cha and the others to make arrangements. Patriarch Lei gave out some maps and many antidotes. Apart from the voodoo poison, the other poisons could be cured. Yi Cha and the others took the order. They were the best scouts, and it was their duty to investigate. Yi Cha and the other 4 patriarchs secretly teleported to a secluded cave and began to gather information. Lu Li and the others settled down in the manor and waited for night to fall. The demon-slaying battleground was a super small world with day and night. The moon at night was red, so it was called the blood moon. The sky gradually darkened, and a blood-red moon rose into the sky, illuminating the entire land with a crimson-red color. The armies of the 4 races had indeed moved. It was easier for the voodoo race to release poison at night, and the Asmodeans to launch sneak attacks. Therefore, the 4 alien races had been attacking at night, and not so ferociously during the day. Lu Li, Lu Renhuang, Patriarch of Law Enforcement, and the others went up to the city wall. The shield of the Heaven Blood City was not as strong as the one at the demon-slaying city. There was only a layer of blue shield, giving out a faint blue glow. The shield was reflected by the red light of the blood moon, which was strange. Boom, 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 whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The barbarian race and the feather race were the first to arrive. They were more than 100 feet tall, like huge beasts. Every time they ran, the ground would tremble. The Heaven Blood City seemed to be shaking as well. The hearts of the 1 million warriors were pounding. The feather race spread their wings and floated in midair. There was no end to them. Their beautiful white feathers were enveloped by the blood moon, giving off a faint red glow, which gave the feather race an enchanting look. The voodoo race and the Asmodeans were behind them. The city wall of the Heaven Blood City was high, more than 100 feet high. Luli and the others looked down from the sky. The wilderness was filled with warriors, stretching into a stretch without an end. The city wall was filled with human warriors. Luli noticed that many of them looked awful. Clearly, they were overwhelmed by the 4 alien races and were in a state of panic. Woo, woo, the 4 alien races howled to attack. The barbarian race rushed over. They were more than 100 feet away from the city wall, waving their hammers and smashing at the shield of the city wall. In the sky, the feather race stood in a line and shot out arrows. Buzzing, the shield of the city glowed and the energy was being consumed. Inside the barrier, the cultivators on the city wall all had ugly expressions. Although there was a barrier separating them, the flying hammers and arrows that filled the sky still felt like they were about to hit them, causing them to involuntarily feel nervous and terrified. After a while, Luli asked Patriarch of Law Enforcement, "How long can the shield of the Heaven Blood City last at this rate?" "Half a month." Patriarch of Law Enforcement sighed. 2 months ago, the voodoo poison appeared. Since then, we have been afraid to go to war. The Heaven Blood City has been under attack for 2 months. The energy is running low. If we cannot cure the voodoo poison or kill the Asmodean Lord of the Asmodeans, the 4 cities will fall sooner or later. By then, it will be the end of the human race. Then we cannot let them go on. Luli was filled with killing intent. He thought for a while and said, "I will watch for half a night. When Yicha comes back, I will kill some alien races in person and stop them from attacking the city." Buzzing, the patriarchs and warriors of the demon-slaying hall were excited. It was said that Luli had a relic that not even Deputy Master could crack. Now that Luli had volunteered to fight, everyone was looking forward to it. P.S. You will pay back the chapters you owe in the middle of the month. Take good care of yourself. He was 32 years old. He had been writing for 5 years, day and night. He had written 4 books with more than 10 million words. In exchange, he was crippled and sick. He wondered if it was time to retire. Chapter 822. The blood moon hung high in the sky, casting a red glow over the land. The cold wind was howling, and the land was desolate. Outside the ancient Heaven Murder City, there were strange races everywhere. The mountain-like barbarian races' burly bodies made people feel suffocated. Their hideous faces made people's hearts tremble, and their tyrannical aura made people's souls throb. The huge hammers and chains smashed on the shield again and again, as if they were striking at people's hearts. Arrows flew through the air, and the sky was filled with harpies. Handsome as they were, under the illumination of the blood moon, they looked strange. They were like ghosts from the underworld, seeking the souls of all the warriors in the city. There were also the voodoo race hiding in the toxic haze, and the Asmodeans hiding in the shadows. Their red eyes were like ghosts from the underworld, sending chills down people's spines. On the city walls, on the roofs of the castles, and in the air, human warriors and powerful warriors were all looking at the alien races outside the shield with solemn expressions. At this moment, they felt they were like ants trapped in a bottle, and there were tigers and wolves outside. Somehow, many people felt flustered and hopeless. The negative mood was spreading in the city, spreading to more people. The morale of the warriors in the city was declining. It was getting late at night, but nobody dared to sleep. Patriarch of Law Enforcement had said that the shield could last for half a month. But what if it was broken? Once the barrier was broken, the person in deep sleep would probably be torn to shreds. Yicha finally came back at midnight. There was a secret teleportation formation in the city that was connected to the outside, but it was a small one that could not transport too many people. But it was convenient for scouts to go in and out. Yicha came to Luli like a ghost and reported, "Saint Lord, I have checked the surroundings. The 4 alien races are attacking the Heaven Blood City and the Earth Blood City at the same time. There are 2 to 3 million alien races on both sides. There are dozens of Earth Immortal Realm alien races on each side. None of the masters of the 4 alien races showed up. Neither did the Asmodean Lord. Of course, maybe he is hiding well. I don't think I can find him. Okay, thank you. Go and get some rest. Luli was ready to go. Dozens of semi-god realm warriors could not crack the wicked bead open after such a long time. An Asmodean Lord had just reached the semi-god realm. Naturally, the wicked bead could not be cracked. Over half of the wicked bead's energy had been restored, and it had been recovering. Luli was confident. He glanced at the law enforcement patriarch and said that he wanted to go out alone. However, the law enforcement patriarch shook his head and said, "I'll go with you. If there's a special situation, I can hold them off for a while." Lu Ren Huang said with concern, "Luli, let me go as well. Not even the Asmodean Lord can kill me with my defense." Jiang Qiling was even more worried. Luli stopped her. He thought about it and said, "Patriarch of Law Enforcement, you stay here. I will go out with my father. 5 Earth Immortal Realm warriors will be enough. What's more, the great demonic god would not be able to break my pearl. He would be fine even if he bombarded it for a year." The law enforcement elder nodded slightly and gestured to Elder Lei. Lu Li patted her shoulder. Patriarch Lei brought Lu Ren Wang and the 5 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves to the hall, where there were several hidden teleportation formations that could be used to sneak out. Whoosh! Yicha did not take any rest. Seeing that Lu Li was about to go, Yicha went after him and said, "Saint Lord, you go. I will pick you up at the portal." "Sure." Lu Li nodded. He put Lu Ren Wang and the 5 Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves into the wicked bead and stepped into the teleportation formation with Yicha. "This is the map of the maze in the tunnel outside. You can follow the map when you come back." Patriarch Lei handed Lu Li a map, which he put into his interspatial ring. Buzzing, the teleportation formation glowed. Since the teleportation formation was built in an underground secret room, it could not be sensed from the outside. This was the shortest distance. There would not be too much fluctuation in space. Lu Li and Yi Cha appeared in an underground cave. As soon as they came out, Lu Li went into the wicked bead at once and checked the surroundings with psychic power. The cave was quiet. There were ripples of inhibition formations on the walls. Clearly, this was an advanced formation of illusion. Otherwise, the 4 alien races scouts would have found this place. Whoosh! Yicha went out like a ghost and came back soon. He nodded and said, "Everything is normal. Yicha, stay here and wait. If something goes wrong, go back to the city. Don't worry about me." Lu Li flew the wicked bead out slowly. Along the tunnel, he noticed that there were maze formations all along the way. But since he was flying out from the inside, he was not affected. After the time for half an incense stick to burn, Lu Li came out from the tunnel and came out from a ditch on a mountain. He did not fly the wicked bead up. Instead, he flew around in a low-key manner. The mountain was steep, deserted, and miasma was everywhere. There were some alien race scouts wandering around, but they were killed by Lu Li's Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves in an instant. "Let's go," Lu Li confirmed the direction. He flew the wicked bead toward the Heaven Blood City in a blur. He was not far away from the Heaven Blood City, only hundreds of miles away. In a moment, he could see countless alien races. Lu Li had 50 walking puppets, but he was reluctant to use them. The mystical materials used to make walking puppets were of high quality. What was more, there would be many Earth Immortal Realm warriors of the 4 alien races in the army. They could be destroyed easily. Buzzing, there was not much to say. Lu Li adopted the simplest and most violent method. The wicked bead glowed and turned into a huge meteorite with a radius of more than 1,000 feet. There was a cyan glow around the bead. It was glaring, which attracted many alien races' attention. Whoosh! A team of feather race scouts flew over, trying to figure out what the wicked bead was. Some feather race warriors shot out some arrows to test the bead. Whoosh! The wicked bead that was floating in midair began to move. It dashed toward the team of feather race scouts like a shooting star. The speed was appalling. Those feather race warriors were average warriors. How could they dodge? Boom, 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 boom. The wicked bead smashed more than a dozen feather race warriors into pieces. They didn't even have the chance to scream. The wicked bead dashed toward the densest group of feather race warriors. What is that? The almighty Asmodean Lord, what am I seeing? Move away now. Whoosh, whoosh. In the camps of the four alien races, many warriors of the four alien races were scared out of their wits, staring at the cyan bead coming from behind. They did not know what the bead was, but they all sensed fatal danger. They shouted in their own language. Whoosh! Many warriors tried to run, but they were too slow. By the time they saw the wicked bead, it was already too late. Bang! One body after another exploded. The wicked bead dashed on like a beast of war. All the warriors of the four alien races that were hit by the wicked bead were reduced to a mist of blood. As the wicked bead flew over, an empty space was cleared out among the densely packed warriors. What is that? Inform Lord Asmodean Lord. An old warrior of the Asmodean race shouted as he watched the wicked bead fly over and injure more than 1,000 warriors, including a human sovereign realm warrior of the feather race. His blood-red eyes glowed as he looked at the wicked bead. He did not panic at all. Instead, his eyes glowed with greed. Chapter 823. Oh, look, is that bead really a relic? How come so many powerful warriors can't crack it? They can't. They can't even slow down the bead. Look at how fast the bead is. How fast is the bead? I think it is even faster than Grandmaster. Good heavens. No wonder Lu Li can destroy the Samsara Palace. Shut up. Do you have a death wish? The entire Heaven Blood City was boiling after Lu Li's attack. At least hundreds of thousands of warriors flew up to the city to watch. Their mouths were wide open and their eyes were wide open. They could not believe what they saw. Even the barbarians that were as tall as mountains and had strong defensive abilities would be crushed by the bead. Many powerful warriors of the four alien races tried to stop the wicked bead. Yet, the wicked bead was not smashed away, nor was it slowed down. There were many Earth Immortal Realm warriors of the four alien races. How horrifying could the attacks of Earth Immortal Realm warriors be? They could level a hill at will. Yet, such a force could not slow down the wicked bead one bit. That was unheard of. Jiang Qiling was filled with pride. Jiang Qiling was filled with pride. Patriarch of Law Enforcement nodded, and many other patriarchs smiled. A glint of greed rose in the depth of some patriarchs' eyes. Who wouldn't want something good? In the city, there were some spies that were planted by their enemies. They stared at the wicked bead with hatred. Boom, boom, boom. The massacre was still going on. Warriors of the four alien races were clustered together. They were like a colony of ants. Lu Li didn't even have to lock onto a target. He could simply smash around in the wicked bead. Spread out, spread out. Back off. Spread out. Earth Immortal Realm warriors of the four alien races followed the wicked bead and shouted. Many warriors of the four alien races came to their senses. But it was not easy for so many to spread out at once. The wicked bead was moving at its top speed. Every time it flew by, many alien races would be smashed away and smashed into pieces of flesh and blood. Every time the wicked bead passed through, at least thousands would be smashed away. More than half of them died. The wicked bead was like a lion trampling over a flock of ducks. It was unstoppable and the strength was unequal. 30 minutes. In merely the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, more than 30,000 people from the four clans have been killed, and the number of people who were injured was even more innumerable. Fresh blood dyed the area outside the city red and sprinkled across the sky. The four races' armies finally dispersed. Many of the smarter harpies had already flown off into the distance. The devil race knew how to escape, so their casualties were not that serious. Only the wizard race and the barbarian race suffered the most. The voodoo race, in particular, was weak in defense. They were skilled in poisons, but their poisons were ineffective when Lu Li did not show up. Every time the wicked bead came, they would have to wait for death. Their defense and speed were too weak. Almost every time the wicked bead came, they would become minced meat. All right, seeing that the wicked bead could kill the four alien races easily, The morale of the warriors in the city was boosted. At this rate, Luli could kill the 4 alien races even if there were tens of millions of them. Not only was the danger for the 4 races' armies resolved, but the human race was also able to counterattack and enter the 4 continents, causing great damage to the 4 races. Buzz, the space above the wicked bead, suddenly began to tremble. Then a warrior in black armor showed up in midair. Lord Demon God. Many Asmodeans came out. They dropped to one knee to the tall man in midair and shouted with enthusiasm. Powerful warriors of the other 3 alien races shouted, "Lord Demon God." A glint of killing intent rose in Patriarch of Law Enforcement's eyes. He pulled a long face. Xing Mu and many patriarchs of the demon-slaying hall died in the hands of this man. This man was the greatest threat to the human race. Many patriarchs were taken aback. Looking at the man standing proudly in midair, they felt a chill. This Asmodean lord was too strong. Many people saw with their own eyes that several patriarchs of the demon-slaying hall were killed by him in one move. Not even Deputy Master was a match for him. Last time, Deputy Master was almost stabbed to death. All the soldiers in the city revealed fear in their eyes. This great devil god had become a nightmare for many people during this period of time. Many people were afraid at night that this Asmodean lord would suddenly appear next to them and stab them to death. The city was noisy at first. However, after the Asmodean lord showed up, the city quieted down. Everyone's gazes were locked onto the black-armored man. Looking at his blood-red eyes, they felt a chill run down their spines. The wicked bead stopped at this moment. Luli used psychic power to check the Asmodean lord. Luli did not worry too much. This Asmodean lord had just reached the semi-god realm. Even if he had learned a powerful, profound meaning, how powerful could he be? Luli had met several family patriarchs of the major races of the mage imperial universe. None of them could crack the wicked bead. The Asmodean lord looked like a statue. The muscles on his face did not move. His eyes glowed in a red light. He did not do anything after he came out. He stared at the wicked bead for a moment. Suddenly, he grinned and said in a ghostly voice, "This is the wicked bead?" Luli was taken aback by these words. Very few people knew the name of the wicked bead. Apart from those close to Luli, no one else knew. How could this Asmodean lord know? Can it be? An idea came to Luli's mind. Could it be that the Asmodeans of the Heaven Reverse universe were connected to the Mage Imperial universe of the 9 universes? But how is that possible? If the Mage Imperial universe were connected to the Asmodeans, powerful warriors from the Mage Imperial universe would have arrived a long time ago. The ones at the demon-slaying hall would have been wiped out. If the Asmodean lord had nothing to do with the Mage Imperial universe or the 9 universes, how did he know about the wicked bead? Luli's eyes flickered. How do you know about the wicked bead? Hiss, hiss, the Asmodean lord laughed horribly and continued. Don't worry about how I know. All you need to know is that, from today on, this relic will no longer be yours. Buzzing, the Asmodean lord suddenly vanished into thin air. Then, the space around the wicked bead began to tremble. Following that, many dark shadows dashed out from the void, holding a black dagger with a blue glow. They kept stabbing at the wicked bead. Bang, 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 bang. From the wicked bead came some muffled sounds. The wicked bead was glaring. At every second, the wicked bead was enduring over 100 attacks. Well, Luli used psychic power to check. He was taken aback. Every attack was not an illusion, but a real one. In other words, all the dark shadows were real. Were they real bodies? Luli had clones of his own, but they were all illusions without any power of attack. The Asmodean lord had hundreds of clones. They kept coming out from his space to attack the wicked bead. With every strike, the energy of the wicked bead would decrease. Based on Luli's calculation, every strike was as strong as a semi-god realm warrior's. No wonder Grand Master Xing died in his hands. Luli was relieved. Xing Mu was strong, but he had not reached the semi-god realm. He had just learned some profound meanings. This demon god's continuous attacks made it impossible to find his true body. No matter how strong a person was, if they were entangled by him, they would eventually be stabbed to death, right? Chapter 8:24. Bang, 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 bang. The space around the wicked bead was being torn apart. Many dark shadows came out and stabbed at the space before they disappeared into the cracks. The Asmodean Lord was so fast that many average noble Lord Realm warriors couldn't even see it clearly. They could only see some shadows flashing by. Then, the wicked bee glowed, and there came some muffled sounds of explosions. Countless people revealed looks of shock. Who could block such a terrifying attack from the great demon god? The wicked bead seemed to be indestructible. How many times could it withstand the Asmodean Lord's attacks? Not only the regular warriors, even some patriarchs of the demon-slaying hall were concerned. Any kind of defensive artifact would require energy to sustain. Under such a terrifying attack, the defensive treasure would quickly deplete its energy. Once it ran out of energy, the defensive treasure would become a dead object. Luli wasn't worried at all. Although the demon god's attack was not bad, it was far inferior to the old monsters of the Nine Realms. If he were to attack alone, he would not be able to break through it even after a few years. Luli did not move the wicked bead. He was still wondering how the Asmodean Lord learned about the wicked bead. For this great demon god to know that it was a divine artifact, there were only two possibilities. He had a spy on his side, or he got the news from the Nine Realms. He turned to Uncle Nine of the June family and asked, "Do you think the warriors of the Nine Universes can arrive at the Heaven Reverse Universe so soon?" "Impossible." Uncle Nine of the June family blinked. He looked at the other four and said with certainty, "The Heaven Reverse Universe is connected to the Inferno. It should be far away from the Nine Universes." Warriors of the Nine Universes could break down spatial barriers, but they could not reach the Heaven Reverse Universe at once. They would have to cross universes. Even if they could break through the barrier of at least two realms, it would take several years. Also, they must know the exact location of the Heaven Reverse Universe, or else it will take longer, and they will have to pay a high price. Luli was a bit relieved. The Heaven Reverse Universe was a bit far away from the Nine Universes. Warriors from the Nine Universes would not arrive so quickly even if they wanted to. Lu Renhuang noticed that Luli looked uneasy, so he asked, "What is going on out there? Do you need me to fight?" "It's fine. Father, please sit down. I can handle it." Luli smiled. He used psychic power to check. Still, he could not move the wicked bead. Instead, he used his divine will to scan the great demonic god's figures one by one, trying to find a way to kill him. There was only one semi-god realm warrior on the four alien races' side. As long as this semi-god realm warrior was killed, the army would immediately retreat. The voodoo poison of the voodoo race would not amount to much. If the master of the voodoo race dared to come out, Luli would have the guts to kill him. Featherwind. Luli didn't have the courage to go out, nor could he let Lu Renhuang out. Featherwind was the only thing he could rely on. Luli sent out strands of featherwind from the small hall and hovered around the wicked bead. He didn't dare to release too many at once, lest he alerted the enemy. He slowly released it, but the great demonic god outside did not stop attacking. Wind Dragon. When more featherwind was released, Luli gathered the featherwind and spun it around the wicked bead. The featherwind enveloped the approaching dark figures. Chi! Chi! Many black shadows suddenly disappeared in midair. A black shadow flashed out from the void on the left, but it didn't attack. Instead, it paused in midair and drilled into the space crack. Looks like it's not a doppelganger, but a special kind of profound attack. Luli was more confident now. That being said, he was disappointed that the Asmodean Lord didn't react much when he was enveloped by the featherwind. The featherwind was too weak to affect a semi-god realm warrior. If so, then Luli shouldn't waste his time. Featherwind was precious. The more he used, the less he would have. Luli flew the wicked bead away. He left the Asmodean Lord alone and began to attack the warriors of the four alien races nearby. Bang, bang, bang. The wicked bead dashed toward the crowded area in a blur. The wicked bead pierced through easily. leaving behind broken limbs and blood in the air. Fall back, squeak, squeak. Powerful warriors of the 4 alien races shouted. The space around the wicked bead began to tremble again. The Asmodean Lord continued to attack the wicked bead. Luli ignored the Asmodean Lord. He flew the wicked bead around and went after the 4 alien races. The wicked bead had more than 2 million warriors. Luli didn't give the order to retreat. The 4 alien races were all nearby. They were living targets. It was too easy for Luli to hunt them down. As the alien races were crushed to death one by one, warriors in the Heaven Blood City were cheered up. The wicked bead was under the Asmodean Lord's pursuit. However, Luli could kill the 4 alien races without any scruples. What did this mean? It meant that Luli was not afraid of the Asmodean Lord at all. It meant that the Asmodean Lord could not crack the wicked bead anytime soon, or else Luli would have fled in the wicked bead. Okay, several patriarchs shouted. If the wicked bead could stop the Asmodean Lord, then Luli could use the wicked bead to crush the alien races one by one. The 4 alien races were all dead. Could the Asmodean Lord do it all by himself? Outside the city, the 4 alien races were panicking. Even though they didn't receive orders, many of them started to run. Nobody wanted to die. That bead the size of a mountain could crush many alien races every time it came. Many alien races were scared out of their wits. Spread out, the Asmodean Lord suddenly shouted. The alien races around the wicked bead fled to all sides, including those at the Earth Immortal Realm. The Asmodean Lord stood in front of Luli. This time, he did not attack. Instead, he stabbed with the dagger. Every time he did so, the space in front of him would crack. Gradually, a huge hole appeared in space. What kind of skill is this? Luli sensed it from the distance. He tried to turn the wicked bead to dodge. However, the Asmodean Lord slapped forward. That hole in space began to spin. A huge swirl appeared and spread toward the wicked bead in a blink of an eye. The swirl swallowed the wicked bead at once. Then, under the watchful eyes of many, the wicked bead vanished into thin air. That hole in space closed up quickly. The wicked bead vanished into thin air as if it was swallowed by a huge beast. Ow! Patriarch of Law Enforcement and the others were taken aback. What kind of skill did the Asmodean Lord use? Was it a profound meaning of space? Such a terrifying space ultimacy. Could it be a 9th grade ultimacy? Nice! Lord Asmodean Lord is mighty. Long live the Asmodean Lord. The alien races around shouted. Many of them were burning with passion. Even the barbarian race, the voodoo race, and the feather race looked at the Asmodean Lord with admiration and respect. Keep going. The Asmodean Lord stood in midair with pride. He threw a cold glance to the pale-faced warriors in the city. Then, he vanished into thin air. Bang! A jade talisman in Jiang Qiling's hand suddenly cracked. Color returned to her pale face. She was delighted. She whispered to Patriarch of Law Enforcement. Luli has sent a message back. He is fine and told us not to worry. Patriarch of Law Enforcement and the others were relieved. If Luli and the others had died, then who could stop the Asmodean Lord? The human race would be doomed. If Luli is fine, then where is he? Jiang Tianshun squinted. All of a sudden, he asked, doesn't that move of the Asmodean Lord look like the spatial transference? Profound meaning? In history, one of our chosen warriors learned this 9th rank profound meaning. Spatial transference? Patriarch of Law Enforcement nodded. Yes, if it really is spatial transference, then we will be in big trouble. It is only a matter of time before the city is breached. Jiang Tianshun and Patriarch Lei looked at each other. Their expressions were grave. Every time Luli showed up, he would be teleported away by the Asmodean Lord, and the alien races would continue to attack. Because of the voodoo poison, nobody dared to fight. It was only a matter of time before the 4 cities were breached. Once the cities were breached and the voodoo poison could not be cured, what awaited the human race would be a nightmare and a catastrophe. P.S. I will pay you back by the middle of the month. Don't worry, Chapter 825. Luli was indeed teleported out. He felt the wicked bead turn and found himself in a strange space. That being said, there was a blood moon in the sky and the wilderness was all around. There were some feather ray scouts in the distance. He should still be in the demon-slaying grounds. Luli was surprised. He quickly explained the situation to Uncle Nine of the June family. June Gio and the others of the June family were all old monsters. They were very knowledgeable, so they immediately determined that this was the spatial transference profound, a 9th grade profound meaning. The great demon god's profound meaning should not have been fully comprehended. Otherwise, he would have been able to move Heaven Murder City with one move. At that time, the city's defensive array would have definitely been destroyed. The 9th grade profound meaning is indeed powerful, Luli exclaimed. He crushed a jade talisman to tell them not to worry. Jiang Qiling was a stubborn girl. It would be troublesome if she left the city on impulse. Luli and Jiang Qiling had an agreement, and he left many jade talismans for her. Each talisman represented a different meaning. Luli flew the wicked bead around and sent out an Earth Immortal Realm warrior to capture a feather ray scout. Luli searched his soul and was relieved to make sure that he was still in the demon-slaying battleground. He would be fine as long as he was in the demon-slaying grounds, but it would be troublesome if he was trapped in some strange space. However, after a moment of consideration, Luli suddenly thought of something. He looked awful. If the great demon god appeared and teleported him away every time he went to kill the armies of the 4 races, then he would be completely useless. Because of the sorcerer god's poison, no one from the human race dared to fight. The second palace master was no match for the great demon god, so he didn't dare to come out and throw his life away. In the end, the human race could only retreat in defeat. When the 4 cities were broken, the human clan would be defeated. When the armies of the 4 alien clans invaded the divine Great Land, it would be a catastrophe waiting for the human clan. Don't worry, there's still time. The Heaven Blood City and the Low Blood City could hold on for half a month. If the 2 cities were destroyed, there was still the Monster Blood City and the Demon Slaying City. What was more, the Demon Slaying City was supported by Emperor of Heaven Reverse's divine energy. It shouldn't be a problem to defend the city for a year and a half. Luli flew the wicked bead around. After some thoughts, he flew straight to the west to see if he could blast open the cities of the 4 alien races. Since the 4 alien races were attacking human cities, he would attack the 4 alien races' cities. If possible, he would invade the lands of the 4 clans and slaughter them in their headquarters. Let's see if the great demon god could afford it. The demon-slaying grounds was large, but compared to the speed of the wicked bead, it was small. Luli was teleported millions of miles away. He was not far away from a city. After flying for half a day, Luli saw a huge city in the distance. Outside the city were many feather race scouts. This was a city of the feather race. Whoosh, whoosh, the scouts sensed a bead flying over and quickly flew over. None of them had received any information about the wicked bead. Therefore, they were curious and alarmed. Because the 4 races didn't have many treasures, the human race had the most. Luli looked at the city from a distance. It was about the same size as the Heaven Blood City. There was a blue shield, which should be quite strong. He pondered for a while and controlled the bead to fly a little faster, easily avoiding the group of scouts. He circled around the city and flew into the distance. He wanted to see if he could lure out the harpy experts in the city and use them to deceive the city's protective formation. Clearly, he was overthinking. The shield was not opened, and the powerful warriors in the city didn't come out. That being said, there were more scouts nearby. Charge! Luli smashed the wicked bead over and killed 1 feather race warrior after another right in front of the feather race warriors in the city. He did not accelerate the wicked bead to the maximum speed. His speed was only at the initial stage of the Earth Immortal Realm. He wanted to see if he could lure out some powerful feather race warriors. Luli's killing of the feather race scouts outside the city caused a great reaction in the city. Many feather race warriors flew up. On the city wall, there were many powerful feather race warriors. They looked at the wicked bead in surprise, wondering what it was and how could it be so fast. How could it kill Feather Race scouts so easily? Whoosh! After a moment, a powerful Feather Race warrior came from the distance. Luli's wishful thinking was ruined. Clearly, this Feather Race warrior had teleported out through a special channel. The shield would not be opened easily. It was an Earth Immortal Realm warrior of the Feather Race. Luli could not tell his age, but he must be quite old. He was fast. Though he seemed to be at the initial stage of the Earth Immortal Realm, he could be as fast as humans at the later stage of the Earth Immortal Realm. The Feather Race had always been known for their speed. Swish, the Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior held a golden longbow in his hand. He shot out an arrow with flames on it. As the arrow flew out, the space around it was curled up. The temperature of the arrow was evident. Luli tried to dodge in the wicked bead, but the arrow followed him as if it had eyes. The arrow was as fast as a warrior at the later stage of the Earth Immortal Realm. Luli would not be able to dodge unless the wicked bead was at full speed. Bang! The arrow landed on the wicked bead and exploded. A ball of flames enveloped the wicked bead. The surrounding space expanded, and a huge mushroom cloud soared into the sky. The surrounding space twisted and tore apart. That is horrifying. The Feather Race was never strong in attacks. This arrow was powerful. This Earth Immortal Realm warrior must have enjoyed a high status among the Feather Race. Okay, take him down. This Earth Immortal Realm warrior was quite powerful. Luli wanted to take him as a soul slave. He could capture a mole and see if he could trick the city to open. At the same time, he could get some information. Luli did not fly the wicked bead toward this warrior. Instead, he pretended to be frightened and flew to the distance. Whoosh! The Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior chased after the wicked bead. He kept shooting arrows from his golden bow. Every time, a ball of flames would rise. The wild grasses on the ground were on fire. Bang! Dozens of miles later, the wicked bead suddenly fell down and rolled on the ground. It seemed the wicked bead was damaged by the arrows. The Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior did not approach the wicked bead rashly. He shot some more arrows from the distance. Every time, the wicked bead would be smashed away. The Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior was surprised. He circled around the wicked bead and shot some more arrows. Eventually, he could not hold back his curiosity. He approached the wicked bead slowly. Luli could see what was going on outside through the wicked bead. He said to Uncle Nine of the June family, "Later, go and bring someone in. Be prepared." Swish! When the Feather Race warrior was more than 1,000 feet away, the wicked bead glowed and dashed toward the Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior. The Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior was taken aback. He retreated while shooting more arrows. It was too late for him to run. The wicked bead was traveling at its top speed. The arrows could not slow the wicked bead down. In the time for a few breaths, the wicked bead had caught up with the Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior. Feather Wind, two dragons of wind formed by Feather Wind whooshed out and enveloped the Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior. The Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior was hit. He rolled around in midair, howling in pain. Buzzing, Uncle Nine of the June family came. He grabbed the Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior's neck and dragged him into the wicked bead. What? Lu Ren Huang, who was sitting with his legs crossed, suddenly opened his eyes. Cold air came out from his eyes. He took out a golden spear and stabbed at the Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior's neck. "Father, don't do it." Luli was amazed by Lu Ren Huang's reaction. He shouted at once. At the same time, he controlled the Feather Wind to surround the Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm warrior so that he could not fight back. Oh! Chapter 826. Give me some information, Luli explained. He let the Feather Wind keep on suppressing the Feather Race warrior until he passed out. Then, he used the Soul Seed to control the warrior. Soul slaves. Lu Ren Huang raised his eyebrows and said, "Luli, soul slaves are not a good thing. Personal strength is the key. Taking too many soul slaves will affect your cultivation in the future. Luli knew this as well, but he had no other choice. He smiled at Lu Renhuang and continued to turn the Feather Race warrior into a soul slave. An hour later, the Feather Race warrior became Lu Li's soul slave. This Feather Race warrior understood the ancient language, so it was easy for them to communicate. He was an important warrior of the Feather Race, similar to a patriarch of the demon-slaying hall. That being said, Luli would not be able to deceive the shield of the city because the master of the Feather Race was in the city. There was a hidden teleportation formation outside of the city that could lead to the city. But was Luli brave enough to use it? Inside the teleportation formation was a castle with ancient inhibition formations of the Feather Race. If Lu Li and the others teleported in, they might be trapped in there. As for the shield, it was out of the question. Lu Li and the others would not be able to crack it even after a year. Therefore, Lu Li's dream of breaching some major cities and forcing the 4 alien races to retreat had to be abandoned. As for killing his way into the land of the 4 alien races, that was difficult as well. The 4 alien races all had their own originator artifacts. If Luli were to go in recklessly, the consequences would be unpredictable. Let's go back. It was pointless to stay here. Apart from killing some scouts, the best he could do was to lure some powerful Feather Race warriors out. That would not change the overall situation. Luli was afraid that she would be worried. He flew the wicked bead toward the Heaven Blood City without hesitation. This time, he did not control his speed. He flew back as fast as he could and killed all the scouts of the 4 alien races. The demon-slaying battleground was not fast for the wicked bead. In a couple of days, Luli had arrived at the Heaven Blood City. The 4 alien races were still attacking day and night. There was no end in sight. While Luli was wondering if he should use the wicked bead to kill some alien races, the space around him began to tremble. Then a dark, burly man showed up nearby. Asmodean Lord. Luli put on a bitter face. It seemed that the Asmodean Lord had been hiding nearby, waiting for him to come out. He tried to fly the wicked bead away. He did not want to be teleported out again. Chi! Chi! The Asmodean Lord dashed to the front of the wicked bead. He took out his black dagger and stabbed forward. Space cracked and a hole appeared. Then, a swirl emerged from the hole and spread out. Before Lu Li could react, the wicked bead was swallowed up. Oh, Patriarch of Law Enforcement was on the city wall, and so was Jiang Qiling. They were cheered up to see the wicked bead back. However, the Asmodean Lord showed up in an instant and moved the wicked bead away. The law enforcement elder and the others looked worried. There was no way they could fight this battle. As soon as Lu Li arrived, he was teleported away. The 2 million warriors kept on attacking. It was only a matter of time before the Heaven Blood City was breached. F*CK. 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 Lu Li found himself in the wilderness again. He was so upset. He had gone through so much trouble to get back to the Heaven Blood City, only to be transferred out again. Was there no way for him to go back? Squeak, squeak, little White had just woken up. Seeing how upset Lu Li was, little White patted Lu Li. Lu Renhuang opened his eyes and asked, "What is going on?" Lu Li explained. Lu Renhuang and Uncle Nine of the June family frowned. There was nothing they could do. The Asmodean Lord's skill was so powerful that it could not be solved. Let's go back. Lu Li decided to take a detour to the demon-slaying city. The Asmodean Lord would not block the entrance of the valley and stop him from going back to the demon-slaying city. Lu Li took a look at the direction and flew toward the human city. This time, he kept a low profile and tried his best to avoid the scouts of the 4 alien races. Otherwise, even if he could kill the scouts, the 4 alien races would still be able to tell his whereabouts. In less than 2 days, Lu Li had arrived at the Heaven Blood City again. Lu Li didn't dare to approach the Heaven Blood City. He planned to take a detour to the Monster Blood City and then fly back to the demon-slaying city from the valley and teleport back to the Heaven Blood City. Buzzing, another thing that drove Lu Li crazy happened. The space in front of him was suddenly torn open. Then a short sword stabbed at the space. A hole appeared in the space and a swirl appeared. The wicked bead was swallowed up again. Is there an end to this? Luli was speechless when he found himself in a deserted land. The Asmodean Lord came and went like a shadow. He seemed to be able to track Li's whereabouts at any time. As soon as Luli showed up at a human city, the Asmodean Lord would appear and move Luli away. Several days had passed. The 4 alien races had been attacking the city. At this rate, in 10 days at most, the Heaven Blood City would be breached. All the warriors could go back to the Monster Blood City and the Demon Slaying City. However, the Asmodean Lord would not allow them to go back. What should Luli do? Was he going to wander around outside? He could not breach the cities of the 4 alien races, and he could not go back to the human city. It was pointless for him to stay outside. Luli stopped the wicked bead and tried to figure out a way out. In the end, he had no other choice but to let out the walking puppets to distract the Asmodean Lord so that he could find a chance to go back. He flew the wicked bead back. 2 days later, before he arrived at the Heaven Blood City, he had let out the 50 walking puppets and ordered them to attack any living beings they saw. Boom, 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 the 50 walking puppets dashed on. The earth was shaking. The walking puppets were fast, stirring up a cloud of dust. The 50 walking puppets were like an army of thousands. Yicha. When Luli was flying over a mountain, he saw a mark left by Yicha. Luli flew the wicked bead along the mark and eventually entered a secluded cave. Okay, clearly, there was a formation of illusion in the cave. This was a cave that could teleport people into the city. Luli flew the wicked bead in. It was full of illusions. Luckily, he had a map. Following the map, he reached the depth of the cave and found a teleportation formation. Saint Lord, Yicha was waiting here. He saluted with respect. Luli put him into the wicked bead at once. If the Asmodean Lord came, Yicha would be killed instantly. Buzzing, Luli checked carefully to make sure that there was nobody nearby. Then, he let out the Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm Warrior and 5 other Earth Immortal Realm Warriors and asked them to check around. After making sure that the Asmodean Lord was not hiding nearby, Luli came out from the wicked bead. Swish! What happened next terrified him. As soon as he came out from the wicked bead, space was torn apart. A glowing dagger was aimed at his head. Asmodean Lord. Luli saw a pair of blood-red eyes in the crack in space. Luli was terrified. Never did he expect that the 6 Earth Immortal Realm Warriors could not tell that the Asmodean Lord was hiding nearby. The Asmodean Lord's sword was too fast. Clearly, the sword was a quasi-relic and it was sharp. Luli might not be able to survive the attack, even with his quasi-relic armor. If Luli, a warrior at the peak of the Noble Lord realm, could escape, he would not be a semi-god realm warrior anymore. Luli did not even have the time to go back into the wicked bead because the space around him was frozen. Chapter 8:27. At this moment of life and death, Luli could only count on Little White because Little White could destroy quasi-relics. Luli shouted, "Little White!" Whoosh! As soon as Luli shouted, a ray of white light dashed out. Little White sensed the danger and immediately flew out to protect its master. It fearlessly charged towards the dagger and opened its mouth to bite the dagger. Crack! With a muffled sound, Little White was smashed away by the force. The blade of the dagger, which was circulating with divine light, had been bitten off. There was no longer any light circulating on it. It was obvious that it was ruined. A glint of astonishment appeared in the Asmodean Lord's blood-red eyes as he came out from the void. How could Luli let go of such a good opportunity? He released the Rising Dragon skill at once. His back glowed as a golden dragon whooshed out. In midair, a huge golden claw reached out to the Asmodean Lord. "Kill this bastard," Luli yelled. The wicked bead appeared in his hand. Uncle 9 of the June family and the others came to their senses and dashed toward the Asmodean Lord from all sides. In that split second, the Asmodean Lord's eyes showed a trace of hesitation. Even though his weapon had been destroyed, he still had a chance to kill Luli. That being said, Little White's teeth were so sharp that the Asmodean Lord was afraid. Also, Lu Li's rising dragon skill was quite powerful. What was more, there were 6 Earth Immortal Realm warriors around. Uncle 9 of the June family was at the later stage of the Earth Immortal Realm. Their attacks were strong. More importantly, Lu Li's wicked bead was glowing. The next moment, Lu Li would be teleported in. If the Asmodean Lord could not kill Lu Li before Lu Li was teleported into the wicked bead, the Asmodean Lord would have to face the combined attack of the 6 Earth Immortal Realm warriors and Lu Li's rising dragon skill. Run, the Asmodean Lord chose to retreat. He went back to the crack in space and vanished into the darkness. The attacks landed on the crack in space, but only made the space tremble violently. Let's go. Lu Li dashed into the teleportation formation, and the others followed him. Little White flew back, and the teleportation formation was activated. They vanished into the teleportation formation. Buzzing, after a flash of white light, they arrived in a hall. After everyone was teleported out, the restrictive spells in the hall lit up, and a terrifying pressure enveloped them, making them unable to move. This was a restriction to prevent enemies from sneaking in. No one paid much attention to it, as the teleportation formations in the cities of the 4 races also had such restrictions. As expected, a few divine wills probed in, and the restriction was deactivated. Everyone felt the gravity disappear. Boom! Lu Li turned around and smashed the teleportation formation. Only then did he feel relieved. He wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. It had been too dangerous just now. If it hadn't been for Whitey, he might have died. It was because Whitey had broken the Great Demon God's weapon that the Great Demon God's attack had stopped. Whoosh whoosh, from outside came many noises. Lu Li used psychic power to check. It was Patriarch of Law Enforcement, Jiang Tianshun, Patriarch Lei, and Jiang Qiling. He calmed himself down and walked out. Lu Li, you are finally back. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was relieved to see that Lu Li was unharmed. If anything happened to Lu Li, Patriarch of Law Enforcement wouldn't know what to do. Darling, Jiang Qiling had been worried sick these days. She could not help but throw herself into Lu Li's arms when she saw him. She was trembling. Okay, it's okay now. Lu Li patted Jiang Qiling's shoulder and comforted her. Then he asked Patriarch of Law Enforcement, how much longer can the shield last? A couple of days. Patriarch of Law Enforcement answered, I have arranged for people to evacuate to the Monster Blood City and the Demon Slaying City. The Earth Blood City has started to evacuate as well. Okay. Lu Li nodded emotionlessly. It was right for the warriors to evacuate. Lu Li put on a bitter smile. He had thought that as long as he showed up at the demon-slaying battleground, the crisis of the 4 races would be solved. He had thought that, with the wicked bead, the 4 races could do nothing to him. Little did he know that the Asmodean Lord had such a freaky, profound meaning. Teleportation was not a powerful skill, but it was the perfect counter to the wicked bead. Lu Li went out with the others and even let Lu Renwang out. Lu Renwang was upset. He didn't even have the chance to do anything during this trip. He felt aggrieved. Where's Lung Wuxin? Did she bring her? Lu Li asked again. It would be good news if the voodoo poison could be cured. If the voodoo poison could not be cured, the situation would be even worse. She is here. She is at the demon-slaying city. Jiang Tianshun explained. We have already sent the corpses of a few martial artists who were poisoned by the sorcerer god's poison over. She is currently studying it. She said she is not completely sure. She'll have to try, and it will take time. Lu Li was relieved that Lung Wuxin had started to study. She was the only one that could cure the voodoo poison. Since she did not state clearly that she could not cure the voodoo poison, then there was still hope. The others could not do much. It all depended on their luck. Lu Li went up to the city wall again. Looking at the 4 alien races, his eyebrows were knitted together. Patriarch of Law Enforcement looked at him, patted his shoulder, and said, Don't feel too stressed. The Monster Blood City and the Demon Slaying City can hold on for a year or 2. We still have time, Lu Li nodded. He stood on the city wall in silence, gazing at the alien races. Vaguely, he seemed to see a pair of blood-red eyes among the alien races, filled with mockery and sarcasm. Lu Li stood on the city wall for half a day. At nightfall, he went back. This time, he was determined to teleport to the demon-slaying city. The Heaven Blood City and the Earth Blood City were doomed. Staying here was pointless. Instead of staying here and being bullied, he might as well go back to cultivate and figure out a way. Deputy Master was still guarding the Monster Blood City. He didn't want to meet Luli face to face. Back at the demon-slaying city, Luli asked Lung Wuxin to focus on curing the voodoo poison. Then, he went into closed-door cultivation. He went into the Wicked Bead to cultivate. That was a place of absolute safety. He could cultivate with peace of mind. Jiang Qiling was cultivating with him. Lu Renhuang was cultivating as well, but he did not go into the Wicked Bead. With Patriarch of Law Enforcement here, Deputy Master would not lose his mind when the situation of the human race had deteriorated. Lu Renhuang was proud, but he was not conceited. He knew that he was not strong enough. If he went out now, he would be assassinated by the Asmodean Lord. If he could reach the semi-god realm, Lu Renhuang was confident that he could defeat the Asmodean Lord. Several days later, the Heaven Blood City and the Earth Blood City fell. The shield was broken, and the cities were ruined by the 4 alien races. All the warriors were teleported back. Some went back to the demon-slaying city, and some went to the Monster Blood City. The Heaven Blood City and the Earth Blood City, 2 cities that had been standing for hundreds of thousands of years, were destroyed once again. The 4 alien races that were attacking the 2 cities swarmed back. They gathered at the Monster Blood City. The number of the 4 alien races had reached 4 to 5 million. They kept on attacking the city day and night. This time, the Asmodean Lord showed up at the peak of the mountain outside the city. He sat on a boulder with his legs crossed in pride. He looked down at the Monster Blood City, as if he was laughing at the millions of human warriors in the city. The millions of human warriors stayed in the city. None dared to fight. The city was filled with terror and depression. Many people were showing signs of losing their minds. Boom, boom, boom. Sounds of attacks could be heard all the time. The shield of the Monster Blood City glowed, shining on many gloomy faces. Many people stared at the blood-red, demonic moon in the sky. Looking at the endless horde of outsiders, a bad premonition rose in their hearts. This time, would it be the doomsday of the human race? P.S. I've been taking injections for 4 to 5 days. Nothing better. Miserable. Chapter 828. The Monster Blood City was about the same size as the Heaven Blood City. The only difference was that there were 2 layers of shields, blue and yellow, which were more powerful. That being said, no matter how strong the shield was, it would be broken one day. The shield needed energy, and the energy had to be accumulated by the spirit gathering formation over a long period of time. With so many alien races attacking from all directions, how long could the city hold out? 2.5 months. Many people had a rough estimate. The shield of the Monster Blood City could only last for 2.5 months at best. By then, the Monster Blood City would be considered a ruin. All the powerful warriors would have to retreat to the demon-slaying city. The demon-slaying city had a lot of energy, and it had never been breached in history. More importantly, the city was supported by the divine energy left by Emperor of Heaven Reverse. That being said, no matter how much energy there was and how strong the divine energy was, the demon-slaying city could only last for 1 or 2 years. What would happen when the demon-slaying city was breached? By then, there would be no way out, and they would have to fight to the death. If there was no cure for the voodoo poison, warriors would be poisoned to death, turned into skeletons, and drowned in the yellow sand. Death was not something many people were afraid of. What they were most worried about was the 4 alien races marching into the Great Land and killing, enslaving, or even wiping out the human race. At that time, what kind of terrifying scene would it be? It was unimaginable. On this thought, the atmosphere in the city grew heavier. Panic was spreading. If it were not for the fact that Deputy Master and many patriarchs were staying in the city would have been in chaos. 3 to 4 million warriors were living in the Monster Blood City. The city could accommodate them, but it was still crowded. Many people had their own manners, but now they could only share a room with several people. To the northwest of the city, There was a beautiful manor where dozens of young masters and young ladies lived. Given their status, it was impossible for them to live in one manor. However, there was no other way. Ji Meng Tian, Ji Meng Yao, and 7 or 8 young masters and young ladies of the immediate Ji family. Yang Xian, Yang Yu, young masters and young ladies of the Yang family. Dai Fei Yu, Xiao, Song Long, Sha the Terror, and other young masters and young ladies of the Pavilion of Blossoms, Life League, and the Yiksha race were all here. In other words, almost all the young masters and young ladies above the noble lord realm of the 5 families that were hostile to Lu Li were here. Deputy Master was afraid that Lu Li would kill them, so he had them stay with him. The Samsara Palace was destroyed, and so was Ji Ao Xian. It seemed that the Ji family was wiped out. But as a matter of fact, as long as the Deputy Master was still around, the Ji family would survive. At this moment, Ji Meng Tian had become the new family patriarch of the Ji family. Nobody dared to look down on her, because she was backed by Deputy Grandmaster Ji Zhantian. The group of people stayed in the manor, and the atmosphere was very oppressive. Outside, the 4 races' armies attacked the city day and night, and no one was in the mood to cultivate. What was more, the defeat of the 6 families and the destruction of the Samsara Palace were a great blow to them. When they learned that Lu Li was at the demon-slaying city, they were on tenterhooks and could not cultivate in peace. Bang! In a small hall, Yang Yu smashed the cup in his hand and cursed nonstop. Ever since he was young, he had been living like a prince, enjoying all the glory and splendor. Yet he had been sulking here for a few months, doing nothing but eating and drinking. More importantly, the food and drinks here were not as good as those in Hades City. Not to mention the fact that there was not a single woman here, of course. There were beauties. But they all had identities and statuses. How could Yang Yu get any of them? Given the current situation in the city, not even Yang Buqing could save him if he dared to do anything rash. I cannot go on like this. Young Master Xian, young Master Long, young Master Sha, what should we do? After venting his anger, he turned to Yang Xian, Xiao, Song Long, and Sha the Terror. Yang Xian and the others showed no emotion. They turned a blind eye to Yang Yu's words. They cannot go on like this. Should they stop? Or should they go back to the Central Plains? What if Lu Li sent someone to assassinate them? This was the safest place to be at the moment. Where is Lu Swan? Isn't he the one with the most ideas? Seeing that nobody was paying attention to him, Yang Yu murmured, his soul has been reconstructed, but his brain is still functioning, right? How about we go to him and get some ideas? We cannot go on like this. Sooner or later, we will suffocate here. You go if you want. Finally, Yang Xian said coldly, Lu Swan is with Lu Zhongtan and Lu Tiandi. There are also some patriarchs of a demon-slaying hall. If you're not afraid of death, you can go and talk to him. Then forget it. Yang Yu's expressions changed. He walked around the hall, picked up a goblet of wine, and drank it. Then he smashed the goblet and said angrily, how about we teleport out and join the enemy? The Monster Blood City and the Demon-Slaying City will fall. We can be the first to join the Asmodean Lord. Maybe we can gain endless benefits. Slap! Yang Xian's face turned ghastly pale. He slapped Yang Yu away. Xiao Songlong was not happy as well. Only Che the Terror's eyes flickered. Yang Yu! Yang Xian shouted furiously. If you want to die, don't drag the Yang family down with you. If you dare to say something like this again, I will kill you right now. Piss off. Yang Yu sobered up after the slap. He knew he had said the wrong thing. There were so many powerful warriors in the city. If patriarchs of the demon-slaying hall had heard what he said, not only would he die, so would many in the Yang family. What is it? A gentle voice rang out from outside, followed by a delicate fragrance. A group of women leisurely walked in, causing the hall to immediately brighten up a bit. Seeing Ji Meng Tian, Ji Meng Yao, and Dai Fei Yu come in, Yang Xian calmed down a bit. He said, nothing. Yang Yu is drunk and acting like a drunkard. I am trying to sober him up. Ji Meng Tian had never looked at Yang Yu since she came in. Ji Meng Yao glanced at Yang Yu and said, since you are drunk, young Master Yu, you should go back and rest. Yang Yu was lying on the ground with a red palm print on his face. He was ashamed and embarrassed. He picked himself up and left in strides. Ji Mingtian sat at the head of the table naturally. Yang Xian looked at her with passion. Even though she had been banished to the mortal world, she was still beautiful and captivating. After the fall of the Samsara Palace, Ji Mingtian came to the demon-slaying city and locked herself up for a month. A month later, she returned to her normal self. She had matured, and her beauty was even better than before. Every move she made could stir people's hearts and captivate their souls. Not only Yang Xian and the others, every young master in the city was fascinated by her. Even some patriarchs saw her in a different light. If it were not for the fact that Deputy Master was standing behind her, she would have been killed by some old freak. After Ji Mingtian sat down, she glared at Yang Xian and said, "Young Master Xian, you better keep Yang Yu in check. If he dares to say something like this again, no one can save him." Just now, a patriarch from the Hall of Law checked with psychic power. If I didn't speak up for him, he would be dead by now. Yang Xian and the others were alarmed. Yang Xian stood up and said, "It is my fault. Thank you, Mingtian, for protecting him." Okay, Ji Mingtian nodded and said with a straight face, "I have just been appointed as the Hall of Youth Master by Patriarch Li. All the young masters and young ladies in the city must listen to my orders. Patriarch Li has asked us to gather together and discuss. We need to work together to find a way to defeat the enemy." Hall of Youth? Chapter 829. The Hall of Youth, as the name suggested, was a hall for young people. It seemed that the old guys at the demon-slaying hall had run out of ideas. They had to make every possible effort, so they gathered the young people together for a discussion. Of course, young people were easily impatient. The atmosphere in the city was so depressing. If the young people did not find something to do, something could go wrong. The demon-slaying hall must have considered this. Anyways, Ji Mengtian's abilities were acknowledged by the old guys. Patriarch Li's name was Li Shang. He was a patriarch with great power at the demon-slaying hall, second only to Patriarch of Law Enforcement. It was said that Patriarch Li was lecherous. Yang Xian and Xiao Songlong looked at each other, their eyes revealing a hint of worry and bewilderment. Was Ji Mingtian trying to trade her body for a position as a patriarch? On this thought, Yang Xian and Xiao Songlong pulled a long face. Ji Mingtian was their goddess. If she was stolen by an old warrior, they would feel as disgusted as swallowing flies. Ji Mingtian glanced at the two of them, as if she had seen through their dirty thoughts. She casually waved her sleeve, revealing a piece of jade with a red dot on it. Virginity, sand. Yang Xian and Xiao Songlong's eyes glowed. Smiles bloomed on their faces. They were in a good mood. Ji Mingtian glanced at them coldly and said, "Go and gather all the young masters and young ladies in the city. Gather all the young masters and young ladies from families above the 6th rank. Don't call those that are close to Luli." All right, Yang Xian and the others knew they could not come to any conclusion, but it was pointless. They had to find something to do. They were willing to be ordered around by Ji Mingtian. Yang Xian and Xiao Songlong sent out some young masters and young ladies to invite people around with their invitations. Yang Xian had enough influence. In an hour, nearly 100 people had come to the yard. Ji Mingtian didn't invite them to a banquet. Instead, she went to a secret underground hall in the yard. The secret hall was not spacious. It was a bit crowded with nearly 100 people. Only a few of them could sit together. There were no delicacies, no musical instruments. Fortunately, Ji Mingtian and the other beauties were a feast for the eyes. With so many people gathered together, everyone had been bored to the point of going crazy recently. It was rare for them to be excited. Ji Mingtian sat at the head of the table and glanced at everyone. After a while, she said, "Lu Zhangfeng, Tian Bao Guyu. The 27 of you can leave now." The 27 people who were called out were confused and angry. What did Ji Mingtian mean? You could summon them at your beck and call? Did they think they were slaves? Seeing that many people did not move, Ji Mingtian's pretty face turned cold, and a murderous aura surged from her body. The 27 people who were called out immediately kept quiet out of fear and hurriedly got up and left. After they left, Ji Ming Tian activated the inhibition formation in the Dark Hall and said, "Lu Li and I are mortal enemies. The families of the 27 are related to Lu Li, more or less. Therefore, I asked them to leave. Anyone here, if you want to side with Lu Li, you can leave now. When the meeting starts, you won't be able to leave even if you want to." Swish, 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 many people felt uncomfortable. Was Ji Ming Tian doing this to deal with Lu Li? Not even the Samsara Palace and Deputy Master could defeat Lu Li. How could she not give up? Thinking of Lu Li's means and the forces he had, many people felt uneasy. Lu Li was at the demon-slaying city. If he knew that they were discussing with Ji Ming Tian about how to deal with him, would their families be implicated? "Lady Ji, I am sorry." Some young masters and young ladies left at once. Ji Ming Tian had a death wish, but they did not want to die with her. Ji Ming Tian did not ask them to stay. She watched them leave indifferently. The Dark Hall was already crowded, but now it was empty. At least half of the people had left, leaving less than 40 people. Most of them were young masters and young ladies from forces affiliated to the 5 major families. Good. Ji Ming Tian ordered the inhibition formation to be activated. She glanced over the hall and said, "Those who are staying are all loyal and brave. When we finish this, I believe your families will rise up soon and you will benefit greatly. I promise on behalf of the Master of Hall of Youth." The young masters and young ladies sitting down were anxious. However, their families had been marked by the 5 major families, and it would be difficult to erase the stigma. Even if they went to Lu Li's side, Lu Li would not even spare them a glance. One young lady was worried. She stood up and said, "Lady Ming Tian, the human race is in danger. I think we should figure out a way to solve the crisis. Internal strife can wait." Ji Ming Tian smiled and said, "I am not a person who has no sense of propriety. This discussion is for the safety of the human race. If we can do this, we will be heroes that save the human race. Our names will go down in history. Your families will prosper because of this." Really? They were excited. They looked at Ji Ming Tian nervously. She continued after a pause. "According to reliable information, the Asmodean Lord wants the wicked bead in Lu Li's hands very much. He has been calling on the 4 alien races to attack the 4 cities just to get the wicked bead. Therefore, if we can get the wicked bead, we will have a chance to reach an agreement with the Asmodean Lord. He will retreat, and the 4 alien races will not attack us for 10,000 years. We will have a chance to take our time." Everyone was moved. People in the Dark Hall began to discuss. If they could reach an agreement with the Asmodean Lord, they would go down in history as heroes of the human race. However, no one present was an idiot. Someone immediately asked, "Miss G, how did you get this reliable information? How could anyone know what the Asmodean Lord was thinking? Who was qualified to meet the Asmodean Lord, the leader of the alien races? They would be killed before they could even get close to the Asmodean Lord." Ji Ming Tian did not hide anything. She put it plainly, "You all know that there are moles among the 4 alien races, right? We, the Samsara Palace, have moles among the Asmodeans. They are sons of higher-ups, and they are soul slaves. They are absolutely loyal. The information came from the Asmodeans." Yes, some nodded. Yang Xian and the others were sure of this. The Hades Society had moles among the 4 alien races as well. It was unavoidable that the 4 alien races had moles among the human race. For example, in a small battlefield, some humans were captured, taken in as soul slaves by the alien races and released secretly. Without careful screening, no one would know. But someone else raised a question. "Lady G, what if the Asmodean Lord still wants to attack the city after we give up the wicked bead? They can tear up the agreement." "That is okay," Ji Ming Tian continued with assurance. "We humans believe in Emperor of Heaven Reverse, and so do the Asmodeans. They believe in Emperor of Asmodean. As long as we reach an agreement, we can have the Asmodean Lord swear in the name of Emperor of Asmodean that he will not betray us. Do we humans have the courage to break the blood oath? Of course not. Emperor of Heaven Reverse was not an immortal. He was an immortal who would have the courage to swear in the name of Emperor of Heaven Reverse and then betray it. What if Emperor of Heaven Reverse would punish them and kill them? The question is, how can we get the wicked bead? A weak voice came. It was a young lady's question. As soon as she finished her words, everyone quieted down. Many people were so excited that they seemed to be on steroids. But now they all became listless. They seemed to have forgotten the most important question. How could they get the wicked bead? If they could get the wicked bead, Deputy Master would have killed Luli a long time ago. They wouldn't have to waste their time here. That is why I have gathered you here. Chapter 830. Ji Mengtian started the conversation and pointed them in a direction. They began to come up with ideas. How about we find someone to kidnap her? No, she is an Earth Immortal Realm warrior. Who can kidnap her? Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang are better, especially Bai Xiaoshuang. She is not strong. Bai Xiaoshuang is in the deserted world. Only the Serene Cloud City has access to that place. There are Earth Immortal Realm warriors working for Luli. Not even spies can get in, not to mention us. Then we can think of a way to lure Bai Xiaoshuang out. I think it's better to seduce Luli. Which young lady wants to seduce Luli? I heard that Luli is lustful. Lady Mengtian, do you think Luli will like other girls? Not necessarily. House flowers are not as fragrant as wildflowers. Which cat doesn't have an affair? I don't think it will be easy to do anything to Luli. How about we start with the people around him? We could try to control Yi Luo, Lu Hongyu, Lu Lin, and so on. They kept chattering. It had to be said that these young masters and young ladies were not good at proper business. They could come up with all kinds of dirty tricks. Growing up in big families, they had seen too much darkness and filth. They were not good at open schemes, but they were good at scheming. Coercion and bribery, deception and deceit. They had been discussing for half a day, and they had come up with everything they could think of. Ji Mengtian and Yang Xian, however, were not satisfied. Many of the ideas were not only useless, but would alert the enemy and enrage Luli. After a while, Ji Mengtian told them to go back. But they could not let anyone else know what happened today. Otherwise, all the families would be in trouble. They knew the gravity of the situation. Luli was at the demon-slaying city. If he knew someone was plotting against him, he would be enraged. After they left, Yang Xian asked, Lady Mengtian, is what you said true? Does Grandmaster know about this? Of course. Ji Mengtian nodded. She looked at Yang Xian and said with a smile, as for whether Grandmaster knows or not, Yang Xian, Xiao Tsong, and Sha the Dragon were shocked. It seemed that Deputy Master knew about this. But he pretended not to know and didn't get involved. He asked Ji Mengtian to do it. The implication was obvious. This matter was left to the young man to deal with. Even if something happened, he could shirk responsibility. If that could be done, the threat posed by Lu Li and the 4 alien races would be eliminated. If it didn't work out, the young masters and young ladies would be the scapegoats. It had nothing to do with him. In other words, they were just a knife in Deputy Master's hand. If they could stab Lu Li to death, they would. If not, they would just abandon them. Ji Mengtian noticed that everyone was uneasy, especially Dai Feiyu. She was trembling in fear, and her face had turned pale. She coughed lightly and said, Everyone, do we still have a way out? If the 4 races attack the city, they would all die. If Luli becomes the leader, we will die as well. Since we are going to die anyway, we might as well take a gamble. And Yang Xian and the others were aware of this. But how could they take the wicked bead? This was too difficult. If it were easy to get the wicked bead, Deputy Master would have done it himself. Why would he wait for them? After a pause, Ji Mengtian said coldly, I have discussed with Lu Xuan, and we have decided to attack from several aspects. Lu Xuan? Yang Xian and the others were surprised. Didn't Lu Xuan's soul have been reconstructed? His memory of the past was gone. How come he still wanted to deal with Lu Li? Ji Mengtian sneered and said, Do you really think his soul has been reconstructed? Lu Zhongtan and Lu Tiandi's souls have been reconstructed. An old guy of the Lu family saw that Lu Swan was plotting against nature. He was tempted by Lu Swan, and he didn't reconstruct Lu Swan's soul. Instead, he hid it for Lu Swan in a special way. You must not tell anyone about this, or else Lu Swan will die. Okay. Yang Xian and the others were cheered up. Lu Swan was so smart that he had always been their leader. With him around, they didn't have to use their brains. Lu Swan could plan everything by himself. Come here. Ji Mingtian lowered her voice. She called everyone over and explained, Lu Swan and I have decided that we will attack from these aspects. From now on, we must work together. Each of you will be responsible for one aspect. Where there was light, there would be darkness. Where there was cleanliness, there would be dirt. Luli did not know that while he was trying to solve the crisis of the 4 alien races, someone was plotting against him in secret. If he had known, he would have wiped out the entire Monster Blood City. He cultivated in the Wicked Bead, studying the line diagram, and thinking about how to solve the Asmodean Lord's spatial transference. After much deliberation, he realized that there was only one way to go, to reach the human sovereign realm and see if he could dissolve the second seal of the Wicked Bead. When the seal was broken, the Wicked Bead would have new skills. Luli could use Xian energy and mystical materials to reach the human sovereign realm. The only thing he was worried about was profound meanings. He did not know if he had learned a high-level profound meaning because he had not finished the line diagram he learned from the Featherwind. He did not know what kind of profound meaning it was. To be on the safe side, Luli decided to cultivate for half a year to study the line diagram. On the off chance that he failed to reach the human sovereign realm, his future cultivation would be affected. It was similar to when Hunchback Tian failed to build a fate wheel and suffered from the backlash. The Monster Blood City could hold on for 2 months. Patriarch of Law Enforcement said that the demon-slaying city could hold on for a year or 2. Luli decided to focus on cultivation. Jiang Qiling sat next to him. Luli was worried about her being outside. The Wicked Bead floated in a castle. The Feather Race Earth Immortal Realm Warrior and Uncle Nine of the June family were guarding the Wicked Bead. Nearby was the yard where Patriarch of Law Enforcement lived. Unless Deputy Master had lost his mind, he would not do anything rash. Time moved on. The Monster Blood City could not hold on any longer. Warriors were coming back. The demon-slaying city was larger than the other 3 cities. However, with so many people being teleported back, it was crowded. Many passageways to the Great Land were sealed to prevent the 4 alien races from invading the Great Land. Of course, as long as the demon-slaying city was not breached, the Asmodean Lord would not be so foolish as to invade the Great Land. What if the millions of warriors in the demon-slaying city went to the eastern land of oceans and wiped out the Asmodeans? 2 months later, the shield of the Monster Blood City was breached. Then, the city was razed to the ground by the 4 alien races. The 4 alien races swarmed out from the valley and encircled the demon-slaying city. At the same time, the masters of the other 3 alien races came with their armies. Master of Voodoo race had been afraid to show up. For the first time, he came out. The 4 alien races had 6 to 7 million warriors. Looking out from the demon-slaying city, one could see the alien races everywhere. Deputy Master, Yang Bucheng, Che the Terror, and the others had returned to the demon-slaying city. Fortunately, Luli was in closed-door cultivation. They would not see each other. Things would not be so awkward and conflicts would not break out. Deputy Master and a group of warriors have been holding meetings in the Hall of Conference every day and every night. However, there was nothing they could do. They could only watch as the 4 alien races attacked the city day and night. The shield of the demon-slaying hall was dwindling bit by bit. They were waiting for the moment when the demon-slaying city would be breached. P.S. My neck hurts so much that I can't stand it anymore. I will go to Changsha tomorrow and have a checkup for a couple of days. I might not be able to update regularly in the next couple of days, but I will not stop updating. I will write even in the hospital. I will make up for the missing chapters later. I will wait for the Asmodean Lord to recover first. Chapter 831. The line diagram. This diagram should be called the sky diagram. Is too big. What is the meaning of this diagram? This map is so vast and boundless, and there are countless big and small pictures inside. There are at least a few hundred small pictures and a dozen big pictures. Even if I comprehend this map, what use is it? Inside the wicked bead, Luli felt troubled. He had learned a diagram from the marks left by Emperor Hung. The more he studied the diagram, the more complicated, abstruse, and complicated it became. More importantly, he did not know what was the point of learning it. How was he going to comprehend this vast and boundless sky map? Usually, there would be a direction to learn profound meanings. Following the direction, one would be able to reach the perfect state. Those powers Upanishads all had obvious features and functions. Take the mirror image profound meaning, for example. As Luli progressed, he could form more and more clones. Right now, he had no idea what use this sky map had. All he knew was that the diagram was powerful and contained mysterious power and principles. He had already been in seclusion for 4 months, and he had only comprehended a small part of this huge sky diagram. No, to be exact, he had not finished learning the small part because he did not know what it could do. The situation outside was stable. He had asked Uncle Nine of the June family and was told that the defense of the demon-slaying city was strong. The millions of warriors had been attacking day and night for several months, but the 7-colored shield showed no signs of trembling. Emperor of Heaven Reverse's book had been glowing, providing divine energy constantly. It seemed that the shield could last for a year or two. Lu Ren Huang had been cultivating. Jiang Qiling came out once, but she did not go far. She stayed in a castle outside for a day and then came back to cultivate. Xiaobai ate, slept, and ate. The second palace master and the others did not dare to make any trouble. Everything was normal. Luli received information from the Inferno that everything was peaceful. Luli was not worried that Lu Ling was there. Never mind, Luli decided to reach the human sovereign realm right away. He had no time to waste. If he could reach the human sovereign realm, he could dissolve the second seal of the wicked bead. Listen up. I need to cultivate for a while. Do not disturb me unless it is a matter of great importance. Luli said to Uncle Nine of the June family and the others. Luli told Jiang Qiling, who had just woken up, and she said she would protect him. The wicked bead is so safe. I don't need you to protect me. Luli stroked Jiang Qiling's hair and sat with her in his arms for a while. Jiang Qiling knew that Luli was trying to reach the human sovereign realm, so she left him alone to cultivate. Luli had learned the way to reach the human sovereign realm. Reaching the human sovereign realm was no longer important to the bead of life. He just needed to let it evolve. The most important thing was to condense the soul elixir, which was to condense a divine elixir in the soul pond to transfer his soul to better protect his soul. There was another crucial step, which was to carve the profound meaning. Inscribing one's strongest profound meaning into the heavenly jewel would allow the heavenly jewel to communicate with the heavens and earth, thus influencing the heavens and earth. Heaven and earth would bestow upon human warriors the ability to freeze a small area of space. This was the force field that only the human sovereign realm could possess. The soul was very important. One wrong step could lead to the destruction of the soul. Hence, the soul core was the most important. The profound meaning inscribed in the Pearl of Life was the key to breaking through to the Renhuang plane. This was also very important. Luli had given Yu Huaxin and Zi Huanxiao many mystical materials. Why did they fail? It was because the two of them were unable to carve the profound meaning into their natal jewels that they failed on the verge of success. The higher the level of the profound meaning, the easier it would be to inscribe it on the bead of life, and the easier it would be to break through to the human sovereign realm. That was why Luli had spent half a year studying the line diagram. He had comprehended several profoundness: mirror image profoundness, speed profoundness, space vibration, and wind profoundness. They were not of high ranks. Luli did not know what kind of profound meaning he had put in them, which was why he had not reached the human sovereign realm yet. Charge. Time waited for no man. Even if he could reach the human sovereign realm, Luli would have to spend a long time to dissolve the second seal of the wicked bead. The demon-slaying city could only hold on for a year. Luli had made up his mind. Whether he succeeded or not, he had to try. He was running out of time. If he failed, it would be his fate. He took out a large amount of spirit materials and began to condense soul cores. This seemed to be a dangerous step, but Luli was not worried about it. He had many mystical materials, the best of the best. This step would not go wrong. A large number of pellets and elixirs were consumed. Surges of strange energy flowed out of the soul pond. Luli began to condense soul cores using the cultivation method given to him by Lu Renwang. A large amount of soul energy was drawn out from the soul pond and circulated in the soul pond according to a specific trajectory. Round after round, after hundreds of rounds, a small translucent ball was formed in the soul pond. Soul energy was constantly mobilized and circulated around the ball. More energy from outside the soul pond was flowing in, making the ball take shape. The soul core could not be formed overnight. It took Luli 5 days and 5 nights to condense the original shape of the soul core. Good. Everything went smoothly. Luli rested for a while and then went back to consuming mystical materials. He mobilized soul energy to strengthen the soul core. 2 days later, the soul core was completely formed. He began the last step, transferring his soul into the soul core. This was easy. After all, the soul core was a part of the soul pond. The soul core was created to protect the soul. Even if the soul pond was broken, as long as the soul core was intact, the soul would not collapse. There was still a chance of recovery. Also, the formation of the soul core could speed up a warrior's thinking ability. In this way, his reaction speed could be improved. After half a day, Lu Li's soul had completely entered the soul core. Just when he thought the soul core was complete, something happened. There was a silver dragon mark in his soul pond. At this moment, the silver dragon mark suddenly glowed and moved around the soul pond. Eventually, it surged toward the soul core and entered it directly. Then, the soul core glowed and a small silver dragon mark appeared. Apart from that, nothing else happened. Everything was normal. Phew, Luli was relieved. The silver dragon mark moving from the soul pond to the soul core was not a big deal. It seemed that the silver dragon mark was here to protect his soul. Protecting the soul core was equivalent to protecting his soul. This is good. Luli was satisfied. The mysterious dragon mark had a strong soul protection ability. Ever since Luli became a cultivator, he had never been hurt by a powerful soul attack. It was all because of the silver dragon mark. The silver dragon mark came from the animal tooth pendant, and the animal tooth pendant came from Emperor of Heaven Reverse. Another question came to Lu Li's mind. Without a doubt, the silver dragon mark was a treasure. In other words, the animal tooth pendant was a treasure. If so, why did Emperor of Heaven Reverse leave the animal tooth pendant in the Heaven Reverse universe instead of taking it to the divinity? Don't think about it. Go on. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.